What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on a happy post-game edition of the Sports Web. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the Atlanta Falcons 29-25 to move to first place. How do we start off this show as we always do here on a Monday, Wednesday, and of course, after Bucs games, sometimes before Bucs games. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. For the majority of the day, this was ugly offensively. Let's not fool anybody about this. In fact, I thought the defense did a pretty good job of keeping the Bucs in the game. Definitely. Getting the safety. But as I've said this year, the defense is not without fault as they give up the lead after this offense gives the Bucs the lead. But this time, unlike the first matchup, the Bucs get it done. Baker Mayfield on the day, 14 for 29, 2 touchdowns, 144 yards. Ugly. But you know what was pretty about it? Because a win is a win, and it's not how you start, it's how you finish. 12 plays for 75 yards, including a very pretty pass there to Cade Otton. And the Bucs hold on defensively after giving everybody here a heart attack. So I want to hear from you. I know there's some negativity out there. I know that this Bucs offense didn't look great all day long. I know this defense didn't look great all day long. But it's a huge win because it puts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the driver's seat. How about
them Bucs, baby?
Those Bucs? Let's go! Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Anybody want Kyle Trask now? Anybody want him? I mean, that's the reason why you get Baker Mayfield. I get it. Lots of faults. People will talk about turnovers. People will talk about him holding the ball too long, which he did today. People will talk about how he's not accurate. He wasn't. But you know what? Experienced quarterback in a game situation, and the fourth quarter, he gets it done with his moxie. Bucs win 29-25. Definitely want to hear from you guys. I tell you what, let me go back out to my co-host here, and then we'll get out to the great Paul Stewart of buckpower.com. But before then, let's get out to the Greek. Here we go. Gary the Greek on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I want to say professional handicapper, but you told me not to say it, but I still got to say it. I know you won today. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing?
Hey, you're Super Bowl bound now, baby. I'm doing great. I see Paul Stewart back there. Hey, Paul from across the pond, you can wave to me, brother. I see you.
All right, let's go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, God. I mean, it was a really good game. Loved the way the defense played. A couple of mishaps. Baker didn't look so sharp. But I'll tell you what. They're a game under 500, and they're in first place, just like last year.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll tell you right now, you're exactly right. It wasn't pretty, but I think you would like these numbers here. Let's go down the rushing numbers. Rachaad White, 25 carries for 102 yards, also including 2 catches for 33 yards. The young man today had a game. This running game had a day. So that was encouraging to see. I know that you've been, preaching on the top They ran the ball. Yes.
They ran the ball. Did they ran the ball, Peter?
They ran the ball today. They ran the ball. They
scored how many points?
They scored 29 points. Yes.
Which is more than 20. And they won again. Go figure.
Yeah, but also go figure that your defense, which you count on for the majority of the game, and the fourth quarter gives up big plays to put the offense in position to bail them out. So let's go ahead and keep the same energy here, my friend. Let's go out to
I'm happy.
Let's go out to Paul Stewart here across the pond. Welcome, my friend. How you doing? I don't know what that is right there, so we'll take that off the screen. There we go.
Paul Stewart. Now we can see him.
Yeah, there
Paul,
you go.
Bring your camera down just a little bit, buddy.
There we go. Look at that.
I'm trying to show you all the pictures for my great trip from the last couple of weeks. That's why.
It's a great picture. Bring it down a little bit more, buddy. We want to see that big, pretty face of yours.
All right,
There you
Paul
go.
Stewart, the
There's
Bucs
no
are
way the public deserves to do that. My face is uglier than some of the football we've just watched for the last 3 hours.
All right, Paul Stewart, ugly game, no less, but the Bucs offense scores 29. They come back there, late fourth quarter drive. I go back to a 12 play, 75 yards, 11-yard touchdown to Cade Otton. Big play also because it was talked about during the week. Chris Godwin needs to get the ball more. You saw, an effort to get Chris Godwin the ball, but of course he had some drops. Big time play there to put them in position at the 15-yard line. Your thoughts of this overall game?
Well, let's just say, I'm probably speaking for every Buccaneer fan here. When the Bucs started that last drive, did you honestly think they were going to win? I mean, come on, be honest now, because I didn't.
I did.
I never lost faith.
Oh, come on, guys. From what I had seen from the rest of that game, Baker Mayfield was, and I'm going to use the word horseshit. Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay, I told you I was going to do this. He was horseshit. He was missing plays left, right, low, high, every which way possible. He was trying to get the ball to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but he couldn't do it. And then somehow on that last drive, and again, Harry's absolutely right, the running game was really effective because they kept running the ball. They didn't give up on it because too many pundits keep saying, oh, why keep running it? Why keep running it? That is why you keep running it. So, yeah, they managed to pull it out at the end somehow. It was like we're in pantomime season and we're looking at the story of Cinderella and her two ugly sisters had gone to the ball and it was fantastic. And thankfully, the Bucs scored a touchdown a minute before midnight because if it got to midnight, it would have all gone back to reality. So somehow the Bucs have won. Yes, they're 6-7. Yes, they're tied for the division lead because I think the commentary crew told us at least that 45 times during the game, and I'm really grateful they did.
Right.
We've won, and I don't quite know how to describe it, but we won.
Yeah, you absolutely won.
I know how to describe it. First off, I have some questions, and I need Peter to answer this one for me.
Sure.
Chris Godwin had 11 targets today.
Yeah.
Okay, 11.
Yep.
He didn't catch not even close to that. My question is his wife going to complain again on social media? That's question one. Okay. Question two is, how do you like me now, baby? I told you, run the football, which it's easier than pass blocking. That's how you win football games. Right there, booyah.
You also told me booyah with the defense being a shutdown unit. And again,
they scored points for you. Without hold on. If the defense didn't score points in this game, Tampa loses.
But
Paul,
listen to me here.
Harry's absolutely right. Now, one thing I would like to say is Logan Hall today tied Chris Hogan's franchise record for most consecutive plays without ever doing anything. I think he's now reached 200 consecutive plays with not doing anything. So I'd like to congratulate Logan for his effort. No, the defense was really good. The secondary was outstanding today. Carlton Davis, Zion McCullum, they played out of their minds. Antoine Winfield, even Kayvon Merriweather, who was in there. I mean, he's an undrafted rookie, and he's out there playing key moments. So, yes, the defense did it. But as I said, I don't quite know how they won that game. But, hey,
I got to be honest with you.
They won the game. Guys, they won the game because their offense decided to take it in their own hands after the defense, once again, is giving up big plays because, Carlton Davis did have an interception. He also had a blown coverage. They blew coverage early in this game. And then later on in the game, they allowed Atlanta to go down and score a touchdown. So the defense had to build, the offense had to build them out. So let's not act like it was all just defense today. The defense did keep them into the game, but the fourth quarter,
but
definitely
it was a team effort, Peter. But the defense, if they didn't score the points, they didn't win the game. And by the way, for a British guy, love you, brother. Typically very dry type of personalities. You had me so well on that last joke. That was hilarious. You're talking about records. I'm like, really? He broke a record?
Yes.
And then you hit me.
But the thing is, Harry, I'm like Baker Mayfield. One time out of 10, I get something right.
All right. Okay. I didn't catch that joke here. Stand by, Mike. Let me go ahead and go out to Eric as the phone lines are open. Eric, Bucs are in first place over the Atlanta Falcons, 29-25. Your thoughts? Welcome to the Sports Web.
I love this game. The Bucs could won the first meeting, but it's okay. We won this game. That's what matters most. It was a great game. Offense played good. Defense played good. I think everything played good today.
Well, I think there was certainly things you could definitely work on. Again, going back to it, the offense for the majority of the game, it was tough to watch. It's been tough to watch all year long. I will say the positive thing is that they established the run game, which once again, that's the key to it with Baker Mayfield and, being so inconsistent, which he has been throughout his career. You take the pressure off of him.
We did it without Vita Vea today, stopping the Bucs defense.
There you go. Vita Vea without Devin White and without Jamel Dean. You're correct. You're absolutely right. Yes, absolutely.
I heard the Falcons fans have an excuses. They didn't have their players. We didn't have ours. It should be no excuses.
Well, they lost offensive lineman in this game. They lost defensive lineman before the game, and their field goal kicker, the announcer, cursed them with the 2 missed field goals. Yes.
You know what's funny? He wanted the game the first time we played him this year.
He did. You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
It's funny.
All right, Eric, great stuff. Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. The last thing I know, the Bucs, man, I'm ready for the Packers next week. I'm ready for the Green Bay Packers. I think we have a great chance.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. They definitely got a lot.
If we get Vita back, Jamal Dean, and Devin White back next week, I think we have a great chance.
All right, so we'll see. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, Eric. Let me go out to Mr. Mike Walker. Welcome to the Sports Web. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek and, of course, Paul Stewart from across the pond on the BuckPower.com podcast network. Go.
My God, what a game.
I'm telling you.
I'm
telling you. I'm absolutely telling you. I think a lot of people were saying, you know what? Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I don't know where to go here because largely for this game, it was basically like you didn't know what to expect from, and the offense was not giving you anything to cheer about. You had plenty of drop passes, penalty call on a play where, and it's early in the quarter there where you have timeouts right before halftime. Instead of, going for it there or going and passing the ball, you instead run the ball or you pick up a penalty and you get 3rd and 8. I mean, there's so many things you going for it on 4th down and 2, running the ball on the outside. I don't understand that call. I mean, again, this offense largely for the majority of the game struggled.
That Evans call, it was the correct call. I know Buck fans hate that.
Yes.
Well, his fingertip, his pinky hit the white before his second foot. Unbelievable, the technology they have.
Yeah.
They would never have that happen. I'm going to make this real quick. I talked to you guys a long time ago at Ferg's in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to end it with the call. You remember the call?
Go ahead. Do it, man. Do it.
Good morning, Tampa Bay.
Love it. Good stuff there, Mike. Appreciate the call. Love it right there. Open phone lines. He's happy about the Bucs.
He needs to wake up.
Definitely never going to be. That was great. Great excitement. Love it, guy. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Hold up, guys. Let's go out to Ed. Ed, welcome to the Sports Web. Your Bucs are in first place. Your thoughts?
Oh, my God. What a game.
Right?
I mean, talk about going all the way down to the wire.
Yes. Going all the way down to the wire in the 4th quarter. Yes. Baker getting it done. Yes.
And literally there was nothing going on in the first half. And about, I don't know, one possession into the second half, that's when the offense decided to wake up. And I was just about ready to turn it off. And then, bam, they scored. And I was like, okay, I'll keep watching. And, yeah, gotta like Baker Mayfield today. Say what you want about the guy, but he got it done.
He got it done when he needed to get it done.
MVP, baby. MVP.
Okay, well, let's not be an asshole about this now.
MVP, baby. MVP.
Let's just put it out there. Let's state the facts. The last 2 4th quarter drives, he was money. He gave the Bucs every chance to win, and the defense fumbled it. So go ahead.
What a great game. Absolutely.
Hey, listen, 12 plays, 75 yards for the winning score. We'll take it all day long, my friend. It's not a Picasso here.
Nope, it's not a Picasso. And they just got done beating a red, super hot, top-tier Atlanta Falcon team.
Listen, Harry, they beat.
Yes, Ed. Yes, Ed. That's right. I know you're on the phone. I am bashing the Buccaneers now.
God.
I am.
Okay. All right. I see how it's going today with Harry. He's in a real good mood with you and everybody else.
Hey, the Bears won. I can't help it.
Well, yeah. I mean, why would the Bears not win? I mean, you're going to screw
Because
up.
they actually have a quarterback.
Right, sure.
Oh, screw up. Wait a minute. They've got the pick from the very worst team. Ironically, it's from the worst division in football called the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers.
Well, that's awesome. All right.
Just saying, though.
Wait, are you describing Justin Fields as a quarterback?
Now he is. Take a look at the stats. Believe it or not, I think they'd rather have him here in Tampa than they would. What's that guy's name? Baker.
I don't know about that.
Baker, the Baker Cupcake. Peter, I'm going to ask you a question in front of you, God, and the 5 million people that are watching.
Sure, go for it.
Who would you rather have at QB1, Baker Mayfield or Justin Fields?
I'd rather have Baker Mayfield right now.
You couldn't even say that with a straight face.
I said it with a straight face. I said Baker Mayfield. I mean, what are we even talking about Justin Fields for in Chicago Bears? They're not even in this. The Bucs are in first place right now.
Excuse me, can I request a drug test for one of my co-hosts, please?
Yes, absolutely.
Listen, I mean, I haven't seen.
Hang on, I'm going to go pee for you in a second.
Okay, well, you guys can go ahead and do that. Ed, go ahead. Finish the call up here.
Okay, I'm going to try to finish this call up. But, hey, yeah, I'm excited about the Bucs now. I actually been wondering if I'm actually going to continue watching the season. So I am.
What do you mean you're not going to watch them this season? Of course you're going to watch them. You're a fan, aren't you? Are you not going to watch them? Are you going to watch them? So what are you even questioning at this point? I don't know if I'm going to watch them or not. What do you mean you're not going to watch them? Of course you're going to watch them. You're a fan.
I am a fan. But
they're in the thick of it.
Some really bad games.
Are you Bucs fans this spoiled? I mean, I get it. It's not the greatest football, but are you this spoiled where you're in first place in the NFC South and you're going to stop watching the Bucs game?
No. I'm not.
Because they're not winning it pretty enough.
No,
I'm not. Then Ed, what are you talking about then?
What I was talking about was after the last couple of games, I thought about not really too worried about watching them on Sunday anymore.
Okay.
Because it was just really a horrible product.
Because you got other things to do than watch Bucs football. What do you got to do? Mow the lawn?
Watch losing, yeah.
Mow the lawn, go to the beach? What? What do you got to do? Come on, Ed. Yeah, watch the Bears. Exactly. Watch Justin Fields, the greatness of Justin Fields and the Bears with that great record there. Ed, I got to run. I don't know what this is. That sounded
depressing. Take it easy, Ed. You know what? It's a great win for Tampa Bay. They are in first place. Yes, they are a game under 500. They'll probably finish under 500, unfortunately, and still win the division.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing. They're winning football games. Ed, you got to continue to support your team, buddy. Go out there and watch this great product.
Ed's gone.
But Ed's listening, though. I know Ed's listening.
All right, so let me go out to Curtis here.
Actually, going away, just before we do that, just before we're going away from some of the jokes and stuff, one thing I would like to point out, and one of the people, Christopher Cole's made a point on this on one of the messages. The Bucs are 2-0 without Devin White. KJ Britt played a lot better from our view than Devin White has. So right now, I have no problem if Devin White watches every other game from the sideline or just plays special teams.
And by the way, you said, did I want the defense to score? Yeah. You know why I wanted the defense to score? Because
they wouldn't win.
Well, no. It's not just that. It's that if you are a great defense, an exceptional defense here in Tampa, if you want to call that defense great, we're going back to 2002. That's a great defense, and that team scored points, by the way.
This is not a bad defense, Peter.
They're not.
This Tampa defense is not that
They're not bad, but they're not. They're not exceptional. They're not great.
You can win playoff games with this defense. This offense is not winning playoff football games.
No, I'm not
They got to catch up, Peter.
Listen. If they can score 29 points a game or 27 for you, 27 points a game, and their defense can do what they need to do and not give up big plays, because the big time statistic out there was, well, this team in the red zone is great. Yeah, you know why? They're right, because they're giving up big plays, which they did a lot of today, namely in the first half. Did you watch that when they were up 10-3 and they gave it up?
Actually, I did. Pete, I got to tell you, this Tampa defense reminds me, and it's going to bring back some old times. I think this is just before your time, Pete, but I know Paul Stewart will remember this. This reminds me of the old bend, but don't break, the LA Rams of the 80s. And I'll tell you what, they were very successful. They gave up a ton of yards between the 20 and the 20, and then they just lock your ass down between the 20 and the goal line. There's nothing wrong. They don't have the personnel like they used to, but they're good enough on defense to win some playoff games. I'm telling you reality.
And
I'm
that team
telling
had
you
a
now, and
terrible
I'm not
quarterback
asking for 20.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for 29 points a game, Pete. I am legitimately looking for this team to score between 21 to 24 points, and they should finish out the season just fine. If they don't, then it's really going to rely more on the defense. We can make a debate for either the offense or the defense. But let me
Right.
tell you something. This defense is playing their ass off with what they have.
Right, but they're also
Yeah.
still giving up big plays, and they're not putting their offense in a great situation. Not in that
What?
second half, not
20 turnovers prior to
okay,
today's game.
but to that fact, the Bucs take the lead 22-17, and their defense gives up big plays and lets Atlanta go in, which
They-
puts the onus on offense.
Yeah,
So again,
they
let's
got-
not act like. And you
They
just
got
said
a little
it.
tired.
Listen, I don't care. No. Don't say they got a little bit tired. They gave
got
up
tired.
plays. The offense gave them a chance to win the game. The
Ooh, your
offense
phone's
put them
ringing.
in
You better
position.
answer that.
Yeah, I better answer it. Go ahead and stop talking. Welcome to the Evolution. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
A little feisty, aren't you?
Yep, sure am.
Hey, Peter, it's Jeff out of Tampa. How you doing?
What's going on, Jeff? How you doing? Welcome to the Sports Web.
I'm good, brother. I don't know what to do with the team. Don't get me wrong, excited. I was pumped watching the game. But what kind of brings me down to earth is I'm still seeing the same problems.
Yep.
You know, and I honestly think we're fortunate to get to that game with the because during maybe the quarter it looks you're returning in the kind of same old where
Jeff, I'm having some problems. Can you give me a call back or get into a better area? We're having problems with hearing you. It's going in and out, my friend. Can you call us back?
no worries.
Call me back. All right, call me back. I know Curtis tried to call back in. Open phone line 727-255
Victory Monday.
0391. It's 727-255-0391. Look, a win is a win. Nobody expected this team to go to the Super Bowl, so stop saying
Bro.
they're going to the Super Bowl.
I didn't say that just now,
Okay.
Peter. Okay,
Okay.
You need to slow your roll a little bit. I just
Well,
said Victory
you just-
Monday and took a sip of beer.
You,
all right?
you need to also present facts and also keep
I
the
did.
sanity.
That's the problem. You don't like the straight up facts.
No, I do like the straight up facts. I just told you in the fourth quarter, the defense
Look at
gave it up
Paul.
and the
He's just
offense
loving this.
bailed it out. The offense bailed them out. Whether you want to like it or not, they did.
Oh,
Open
the
phone line.
offense
Let me
bailed
go
them out?
on. The offense bailed the defense out from giving up the lead. Did they not? Did they not
they
give them
did.
the lead?
They
Does
did.
Thank you.
Does
Thank
the
you, Cole.
offense? Does Tampa win if Tampa's defense doesn't score?
It is a total team effort, as I told you. Continue to put this offense versus the defense garbage on the line. It is a total.
You're the
team
one that
effort.
started it. I'm helping you.
And
with
I'm
it.
finishing it for you. I'm finishing it. I'm
Not quite.
finishing it.
Time
Okay.
out,
I'm not-
guys.
I'm not done with
Time
that
out,
neighborhood.
guys.
Let's
Oh,
go.
you missed Wednesdays,
let's
Paul. You
go out.
missed Wednesday's
Can-
show.
Bring our passion, bring our okay, all right.
Cole,
Bring
let
your
me-
excitement, and then don't bring any nonsense like saying MVP, and also don't bring any nonsense saying MVP of the defense either, defensive MVP, because this team is not a winning team, and you're not going to get defensive MVP
I think
on
I
a
said
team that is not going to get 500.
Well, I tell you right now, Antoine Winfield Jr., if there's an MVP of this team, that would be him because he's done everything in his power to play out of his mind. But again,
Yeah, but the Tampa Bay Radio Network is saying that he's going to win defensive MVP of the NFL, which is not happening.
I mean, I'm telling you right now.
That's a pretty hard. That's a pretty hard call.
I mean, you could sell it. You could definitely sell it for what he's done and the impact that he's made on this defense. Think about it, guys. If they don't have Antoine Winfield Jr. on this defense, I don't know where they're at. I honestly don't.
Well, I can think of 3 losses right now.
Right. Sure. Exactly. With the great defense.
Right, bang, bang, without his defense,
Right.
not anyone else's defense.
Right. Exactly.
That's keeping everybody's defense as awesome as it is. That's keeping the offense as great as it is. He kept the guy out of the touchdown. Even there's 3 losses right there with his play, the way he played. They don't win. They don't win this game. They don't win last game. They don't win, and they don't win the one game where he kept the guy out of the end zone.
Yeah,
Or did they win that one? I don't
Antoine
know.
Winfield Jr. also
Yeah.
against Desmond Ridder with the 3 fumbles. You're exactly right, Cole. All right, what else did you see out of this game?
Well, I saw the running back. The running game is working really well when they need to. When they need it, it's there.
Well, I tell you
And-
right now, the last 3 games, I don't know how you can hate this running game again. White 25 carries for 102. Chase Edmonds came in. Much needed break for White, 8 carries for 40 yards. And I will give credit to where credit is due. My co-host here and yours truly have said over and over again, this team needs to have balance when it comes to the running game. That's exactly what they had today. Paul,
They
let me
won.
They won. Let me go out to you. Yes, go ahead.
Hang on
Cole.
1 second. One more thing.
Yes.
I will say that Canales had a great game this game. He's doing much better as the season goes on, which is how you're supposed to do when you're doing something new for the first time. You get better as the season goes on, better as time goes on. So good job out of him.
He's getting better, but there's still some question marks about this offense, and I get it. Cole, thanks a lot.
But he wasn't putrid. That's a good thing.
Well, that is a good thing. Absolutely. All right, Cole, thanks a lot for the call. Let me go back out to the phone lines here. Phone lines are just open, so we're going to go ahead and take these calls. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Sports Web.
This is Alexander calling from Winter Haven.
There's who?
Alexander calling from Winter Haven.
Oh, what's going on, Alexander? What did you think of the game today?
Ultimately, we won. That's the best thing I can say.
Yeah.
Now, touching on how y'all say the defense is not horrible, it's not great, it's okay. My thing is the best thing for us today was Devin White was off the field. I'm just being honest with you.
No, I agree. I completely agree with you. And I feel like, there's people out there that will do constant breakdowns week after week about how terrible Baker Mayfield is, but the veteran, the leader, the captain of this defense is not getting any breakdowns at all, and he showed no effort at all. I hope that the Bucs are ready to move on because he does not deserve a re-signing. He's not played up to even an $11 million linebacker. In fact, you look at his tape, he's played like a 7th-round pick. Whether he's hurt or not, the effort isn't there. I'm ready to move on to these younger linebackers. I think a lot of Bucs fans are with me on this, and you're exactly right. Cole mentioned it. A lot of people mentioned it. They're 2-0 versus Devin White. Keep his ass on the bench.
Exactly. Secondly, I would say Dave Canales, I feel like, is all week he heard about the Godwin targets. And today you could see was the main focus of trying to get Godwin into the offensive game plan.
And still didn't catch the ball.
Well, he did catch the ball on a big play there to get them down at the 15-yard line in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was sweet. That did come after a penalty, didn't it? That the drive was stalled.
Yes.
The drive stalled, and that was that final play.
No, that was the final drive that puts them in position. So yeah, they get a big play there. Absolutely. Stand by here. Hold on a minute. I'm going to put you on hold really quick. Stand by. We're talking to Alex. We're coming out to you in a moment. All right, let's go back out to Alex. Alex, go ahead and give me your thoughts on this game even more.
Okay, so the run game to me has been exceptional the past couple games. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
When I'm talking about exceptional, I mean we going from, I think it was 0.8 yards per carry to we're over the 2 yards a carry mark, and that's great for us because we wasn't getting nothing but running into our blockers after the handoff. You know what I'm saying?
Good point.
Also, I would say that we did use Evans as a decoy great today. What I mean by he was the decoy to get others open. We didn't hit on every single time they happened.
Correct.
But he was a great decoy today.
I need to interject here. They were shadowing over the top on Mike Evans, and that's why they were going to Godwin a lot more in that game. And even Evans had some very catchable balls that he didn't catch. But I will say this much. On one of those last drives, right when he found himself a nice soft hole in that zone, over the linebacker and in front of the safety in the corner, right on the left side of the field to get him in the range, Baker's got to drop that ball in there. Baker has to put the ball on the money. Right. And that was an absolutely horrible throw. That one's on Mike Evans. Mike Evans did not have a really good game today. And believe me, I don't want to hear the callers because I will literally lose my shit today about how they should not re-sign Mike Evans because, he had 6 targets today and he ended up only catching 1 ball. I don't want to hear about it. This guy is literally the best receiver in Tampa Bay history.
Well, I agree with you on that. I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. And there was certainly an emphasis here.
But people do that. I mean, it's just unbelievable. They have one bad game and they just want to sit there and hop on that narrative and just never stop. I mean, I don't know how much more a receiver has to do. Atlanta played really good defense on their secondary and with their linebackers. However, that defensive line was so porous it wasn't even funny. Paul Stewart could have lined up behind center and got up the middle on him. Okay.
Paul, you ready to line up on with the Atlanta Falcons there? Can you do you think you could maybe get to Baker Mayfield there more than what the Atlanta?
Well, I think the moral is when you want something done properly, ask a Brit.
Very good. Very good here. All right, Alex, go ahead and finish up, and we'll get out to the phone lines here. Get out to somebody else. Go ahead.
I'm gonna lastly say this and let
Yeah,
y'all
use
carry
that
on
second
the
too. Use
So-
that second call, by the way, too. Excuse me. Go ahead.
So listen, Carlton Davis had a hell of an interception read that he did.
Correct.
And I want to point this out because I know Bucs fans quickly went on Facebook and was, hooray, thank you, Carlton Davis, and quickly went back to what the going on.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I love Carlton Davis, and I've talked to his dad on Facebook, and I have nothing against his father, but there have been times this year where Carlton Davis hasn't lived up, to the billing. And whether it's the defense, whether it's the formation, or whether it's just his play, it has lacked. It lacked at Houston. It lacked in this game. Yeah, you could see it. You see the flashes of brilliance. You see why the Bucs are paying him top 10 money with reading that interception. And then you also see the downside with him. It looks like he gives up that touchdown. Wide open coverage, busted coverage. Who is it? It's Carlton Davis. When there's a player out in space, open tackle on Desmond Ridder, you got to make the tackle. You don't. Ridder converts that. I mean, that's the type of plays that will drive Bucs fans crazy because they know how good this defense can be. They're the grave-diggers. And, of course, he was the guy during the offseason that said we're going to cause turnovers, which, to Harry's point, they have done that.
20.
But
how many did they get today? I honestly, I don't know.
Well, they got one. They got the fumble there. They got the safety. They scored the safety there.
Okay, so there's 21 turnovers
right
for this Buccaneer defense this year. Peter, I got $1 million question for you regarding Desmond Ridder because I know you've been kind of critical of him.
Sure.
What do you, after watching him now for the second time this year, what's your assessment on these young men? Is he getting better?
No, I just think he is what he is. I don't think he's a starting quarterback in this league. He somewhat locks on receivers. You saw that kind of the same problem with Baker Mayfield. Even though he's mobile, you can see the potential there. I'm just not sure if he's ever going to do it. I think maybe another year under this offense, but they have so many weapons. You would think
they definitely got weapons.
And he also turns over the ball. And I know that whether you're an offensive coach or defensive coach, you hate that for your defense going forward. Alex, thanks a lot for the call. You become a regular here on the Sports Web. Use that second call if you like to, my friend. All right?
Definitely will. Y'all have a good one.
All right, good stuff.
Man. Be blessed, man. Great call.
Open phone line after open phone line here. Let's go back out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Sports Web. Stand by here. Hold on a sec. Let me go. Roger, we got another phone caller on. Stand by. Let me go out to this caller here. Welcome to the Sports Web. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Peter, it's Jeff. Yeah, any better reception?
A little bit. It's still a little bit
spotty.
In and out. So go ahead.
Okay, I'll try. We got so.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here, Jeff. Go ahead. Keep on trying. Let's hear you.
Yeah, no worries. Say, I'm excited, but I can't get that excited because the same problem still exists. And you make that challenge call knowing you're losing.
All right, Jeff, we can't really hear you. I can hear some of what you're saying there. Let me go ahead and paraphrase. I think he can't really get excited because he's seeing the same things. Let me come out to Roger in just a moment. Roger, stand by. That's been a lot of Bucs fans' worries here, especially with this coaching staff, Paul. Still seeing the same things. Did you see the same things that have been plaguing this team?
Yeah, the one thing I really have noticed is the lack of defensive line pressure. They never got to Ridder at all. And the only sack I think they had was when Cansey tripped him up on a scramble and he tackled him a yard behind the line of scrimmage. When there's no pass rush, it puts incredible pressure on the secondary. So it's no good saying, oh, Carlton Davis this, Simon McCollum that, Jamel Dean this, because no defensive back can cover an NFL receiver for 4, 5, 6 seconds. And if you're not getting the pass rush up front, the secondary is always going to get exposed. And it's difficult to say, oh, well, that player was responsible for a particular blown coverage. You don't know what the blown coverage was. That could just happen to be the one player who's in the area at the time. You don't know who's blown up. But what I do like is the lack of defensive line pressure. And again, we'll go back to Tryon Shiinka and Logan Hall. They busted draft picks. They're not getting anywhere near the quarterback. Shaq Barrett has disappeared off the scene. So right now there is no pass rush, and that's why the secondary at times do get burnt.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair assessment. We don't know of Carlton Davis, but it certainly seems like Carlton Davis was burned. But once again, whether it was Carlton Davis or Ryan Neal or the usual suspects. It's happened too many times this year, Harry. And I will say this with JTS, he has an opportunity. And Roger, are you there? I tell you what, let's go out to Roger because he's choking right now. You thought Baker Mayfield was going to choke on that last drive. That's probably why he's coughing so much. Roger Shue, the tribal troll, let me acknowledge
me.
My fellow Greek guy.
Peter Blake.
Yes.
Be nice to the Greek. The Greekites are out in full effect to protect the Greek.
Well, protect the Greek all you want to, but this is the sports web. Nobody's under protection. What do you have to say?
The Buccaneers are the luckiest team in the face of God's green earth.
Okay. And what do you say to that, Harry, when he says the Buccaneers are the luckiest team on earth? What do you always say? It's better to be what?
I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week. You shouldn't make comments like that because honestly, there's nothing with a little bit of luck, especially when it comes to gambling. My $1 million question is this. What kind of fourth down play calling was that, guys?
Awful.
I mean, seriously, you ran that right up to the teeth. 4th and 2, games on the line. You're running it right up the middle.
Well,
Thank
you're not
God
running
he ended
up
up
the middle. You're not running up the middle.
I'm
The fourth down call that you get
Sorry,
with 4 yards, that's a good call there because your line is able to open up. The fourth down you're talking about is in the first half where it's a pitch and there's no blocking on that side. Basically, the Atlanta defender, gets in there, makes the tackle.
It's some really suspect play calling.
Go back and watch that play again. Mike Evans gives the worst half-assed effort at blocking you've ever seen. He tries to half-cut the guy and completely misses, and that's why the play got blown up. So please, before you start criticising the play call, go back and watch what actually happened because it's Mike Evans' fault that it failed.
And I will say this
to people out, but that's what happened.
And I will say this to be fair, maybe Mike Evans does miss it, but I can think of other things that you would do instead of do a pick outside. Maybe, right.
Peter,
maybe
Peter, don't forget,
Peter. Yeah.
Peter, a play is always horrible if it doesn't work. Okay, that's always the thing. So when they ran a draw play on 3rd and 10 from near their own goal line. They got 8 yards. It was a good play because they got somewhere. But go back and watch that play and look at who misses the block, and that's why it got blown up because there was enough blocking there to get that first down. So it's not the case of it's a terrible play call. It was terrible execution, and those are two very different things.
Fair assessment, but I think you could also maybe do something else. Maybe throw the ball, put the ball in Baker's hands and let him maybe roll out or throw. But again, neither here nor there. You're exactly right. It is all about execution, and it didn't happen on that play. Very questionable. Let me go out to Roger. Roger, what are your thoughts?
All right. Well, Bears may be a playoff team. The remaining teams we have backup quarterbacks, except for Week 18 at the back. We may actually pull this thing off and be a playoff team. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what to think about the Bears. We're talking Bucs right now. Roger, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you.
You can't give anybody any love, can you, Pete?
I'm sorry. I'm not.
Who cares, buddy? This is the National Football League. You can't give people love.
I'm giving fine. I'm giving.
Do you need a hug? Here, let me lean over and give you a hug, buddy.
Listen, I'm not here to try to listen. I'm not here to make you feel better or make you warm inside. I am trying to give Bucs fans the opportunity to talk about this Bucs win, and this guy's trying to tell me about the Chicago Bears. I get it, you're a Bears fan, but don't call the show.
One of your biggest supporters.
I agree, but I'm not talking Bears right now. We're talking Bucs. I don't care. We're talking Tampa Bay Buccaneer football. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let me go back out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the sports web.
It's Alexander using my second call.
All right, my friend. Go for it.
Just came to me that I don't know if y'all peeped during the game.
Yes.
When Drake London caught that big pass late in the fourth to get on the drive to get on the lead.
Yep.
The look on Todd Bowles' face that was his job. He knew on the line.
Yep.
I don't know if y'all seen it, but I seen it in his face. Like he knew that if we didn't execute a drive to win this game, that was it for him.
That was it. And again, this is, this one is on.
So you think he would have got fired if they didn't win this game? Not you, Pete. Caller.
I really do think so. Like, I know his fans been calling for his head lately and all this other stuff.
Zero chance.
This was the first time I seen him literally in distress to the point where I felt like he knew this is it.
Yeah, well, and I think I agree with you. I don't know if he would have been fired after this game.
It didn't have to be after this game,
but it would have been
I'm pretty
certainly
yes.
because the expectation, you're completely correct about this, to a lot of Bucs fans and a lot of pundits, is that, you know, with the re-signings in the offseason, with the talent on this team, with a lot of pundits saying they have more talent than the Saints and the Falcons, and right now in the standings, they look like they have the most talent, that you win the NFC South. You're not going to the Super Bowl, of course. Maybe you win a playoff game. Most likely you don't, but at least you get to the playoffs and win the NFC South. I completely agree with the caller, and I think, you know, this defense and this offense did not, you know, produce a touchdown there, and that defense wasn't able to stop the Falcons, and the Falcons made it very close, especially that last play there, getting in the red zone like the 4 or the 5 yard line. Yeah, Todd Bowles' job would have definitely been on the line. Alex, what else?
I still don't think he got the grasp of every time a team have a possession to take the lead, no matter how much time is left on their final drive. I think of the Los Angeles Rams playoff game, because Todd Bowles' defensive scheme, when it comes down with game on the line, is literally, we're going to leave you one-on-one and don't care what happens, because he lets everyone just marches down the field to the point where on the last play of the game, I really thought we had a chance to really lose, because how easily every team makes it look. It don't matter who we play. Just like Houston this year, it don't matter who it is. They get the march down the field, and then now we're gonna try to send pressure and keep the DBs play zone. I don't understand it. You can watch.
Yeah, Alex, you're bringing up the Rams game there. Now, in that play you're talking about, yeah, they went 7-man blitz, 0 coverage, and they got burnt. This time, on that last drive, they had 3-man pass rush, 8-man zone, and they were playing cover 3. So what do you want them to do? You're criticising them for doing for man-to-man. You're criticising them for doing zone. You've got to choose one or the other. And to be honest, in that situation, with 30 seconds left, and they have to go down the middle of the field, you have to play zone defenses.
No, I understand you have to play zone. We don't play zone. We be in man 90% of the time.
Every one of those last plays, we were in zone coverage. Every single one, we were in zone.
Today?
Well, I think there's a variation of it where you do play some zone sometimes, and the fans see the zone. But you're exactly right. When you blitz, you have man-to-man coverage. I don't know. I don't understand, once again, how many times you have blown coverages. And I know where Alex is coming from. I think that's where a lot of fans, do we know every coverage they're playing all the time? Definitely not. And Paul's exactly right about this. You go 3-man. And the reason why you go 3-man, and it gets a little bit scary at that point, is because you're not trying to give up a big play. Even though you give up a big play, you don't give up a touchdown. They have to have a touchdown to win that game. So I know where you're coming from. It's the right defense. If you don't make the tackle, then, of course, Todd Bowles most likely is gone. But you make the tackle. There's defenders around. They do the right thing on that. You have to be conservative to a certain degree because you don't want to give up that winning touchdown. Anything else here, Alex?
Yes, I want to speak on this real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all go cover it in the show, but
sure.
I was speaking on contracts and players coming up.
Yes.
Now, me as a fan, I'm thinking this might be Levante David last year.
It might be, but I still think he's the best linebacker on this team. It just depends on, he's getting up there in age.
You know what? If he doesn't command a huge contract, I say you keep him on because of his veteran presence. Because if you were going to have to replace him and actually draft somebody, he's going to be really good for this locker room. Levante David is not done by no means, but how much money is he really going to command? I mean, I could see him leaving this team this year. I sincerely hope he doesn't.
I know that we got to get Paul out of here. Alex, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot for the calls for the day here. Keep on tuning into the Evolution, all right? All right, I think he's gone. Let's go out to Ed using his second call. Ed, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with the great Paul Stewart and, of course, the great Harry the Greek.
Yeah, I'm calling using my second call, too. The reason I want to call back is I want to talk a little bit about the defense and the young linebackers. I'm really impressed with them. They played a pretty good game today.
Yeah.
Man, some of them made some hellacious plays too.
Yep. You had KJ Britt in this. He had 8 tackles for the day. You got Levante David, not a young linebacker, but still playing like one, 6 tackles for the day. And that was big. A lot of Bucs fans look at that, that injury sheet and see Devin White's not playing. And I think it's somewhat good.
Hey,
You're giving
next man up, baby. You got it. I remember years ago when players got hurt. One that comes in. I know we're not talking about the Bears, but how about when with the linebacker Warwick Holdman went out And then Brian Urlacher came in. He was drafted as a safety, and the rest was history. I mean, you got a lot of comparisons. And no, I'm just drawing a comparison. They're supposed to play good. They're still in a National Football League roster. That's why they're on the 52 and the 53. That's the exact reason why. You got one not playing well or one gets injured, one needs to come in and fill that hole.
Yeah, and I think to his point, and you can comment on this, Paul, and then we can get you out of here because I know you've got a sore throat. You're playing hurt, but you always come here on the Sports Web, and we appreciate you as always, your analysis. And I call you the official historian of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to make it so, guys, of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Make that so. But the linebackers, the young linebackers, do you feel like the last couple of games with Devin White missing that they have really stepped up their game? And maybe you go with these young linebackers to see what you have because of Devin White's contract situation. What do you say?
Yeah, I think you do. And also, don't forget today, Vita Vea was missing as well. So give a lot of credit to the likes of Greg Gaines, who stepped in to play the nose tackle position. But the linebackers, last week, they were making tackles 7-8 yards downfield. The sort of place Barrett Roode used to make tackles for the defense. This time, they were making tackles up at the line of scrimmage. And yes, it was Levante. Yes, it was KJ Britt. So, yeah, I think, and Harry's right. Levante's came back on a 1-year contract, about $5 million this year. He's made his money, he's got his ring. It's down to him if he wants to play and carry on for another year. But you're right, his veteran leadership is still needed and he can still do it on the field. So yeah, Devin White, thank you very much. Enjoy watching the last 4 games on the sideline. And I'm going to head off now because it's late here in England. The Bucs have won, which is the most important things. Have a great call. Keep being positive because 6 and 7 is a lot better than 5 and 8.
I agree with you. Paul Stewart.
One thing.
Yes.
I want to piggyback on one thing that Paul Stewart says. You can let him go. Yes, they were making plays 6-7 yards behind the line of scrimmage last week. This week, they were up in the line of scrimmage, especially with the defensive linebackers coming in to make these tackles. That's what happens when you play teams that are really, really good at running the football. You can play a lot more north and south. Now, imagine what that defense would have looked had Vita Vea been healthy today.
It's a great point.
And now the linebackers are going to look even that much better. Not taking anything away from a couple of bench warmers, baby. Let me tell you something. The defensive line played pretty decent in today's game. Paul, it's really great having you on as always. And thanks for playing referee. You're awesome, my brother.
No, it's been great. Take care, guys. And, don't forget, Peter's in charge of the microphone and the sound control, so he's always going to beat you there.
No. Actually, you don't understand. Watch this. You ready, Paul? Don't go anywhere. Bye, Peter. I brought Peter back. Sorry.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Harry. Appreciate you. See,
just to let you know, Paul, I got the
man.
controls too.
I allow these guys right here, these knuckleheads, to control my account here on StreamYard. Get out of here, Paul. Appreciate you as always.
Paul,
yes,
be blessed, brother.
BuckPower.com podcast network. Good stuff there. We got
what
Tampa
a great guy, man.
Yes, he's great.
Guy.
Does a great job there.
Awesome.
Yes. I'm going to read these comments. We'll get back out to the phone lines because the phone is open. I think we got still Ed. Ed, you want to finish up here? Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
Yeah.
Finish up.
I say give Anton Winfield the money that they're going to give Devin White. Let Devin White go.
Love it. That is a great comment. Love
what
that.
What about Mike Evans?
Hold
on. What about Mike Evans?
Yeah, you got to sign Mike Evans somehow too. Maybe franchise him. I don't know.
How much do you pay him a year?
He needs to be somewhere top tier, but not exactly top tier because of the drops.
I would think a lot of people would say that probably over $20 million. Any more
because of the drops.
Well, I think also
how many yards he got this year? Here we go. I'm going to start going off on people today, man. I am so tired of hearing this narrative. I didn't hear shit from anybody for 4 straight weeks when Mike Evans was catching everything in sight. He has one bad game. Stop it, guys. This is arguably the best wide receiver in Tampa Bay history.
Well, listen, I understand where he's coming from. It's not necessarily the drops for me. I think it's more of he's getting up there in age, but he's still playing at a high level. Depending on what the Bucs do with their salary cap situation, we know that White's gone. You're going to have to re-sign a Tristan Wirfs. You're going to also have to re-sign an Antoine Winfield Jr. So how much is he going to want? But I don't want him out of this offense because I can't imagine how
he's going to catch another 1,000 yards next year. He is by far the fastest receiver we have on this team, the best hands receiver we have on this team, and he's still he will still get over 80% of the jump balls that are throwing him on the sidelines.
Still don't
I'm
understand.
going to say one last thing before you let me go. I think Troy Palmer is going to be a superstar.
Trey
someday.
Palmer. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
He can
We'll
stretch
see.
the defense.
We'll see.
He's Scotty Miller with actual route running abilities.
I tend to agree with you on that. And Zion McCollum, let's not forget him on that Scotty Miller play. We'll get back to that in a moment. Ed, thanks a lot for the call.
Thanks. See you, Ed. Take care,
Ray,
buddy.
I know you want to get in here. I want to go out to the comments because I don't want to neglect these guys out there. I see you, Bears. Congratulations to you. Woo! Woo! There we go. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate you. Eric says, let's go, Peter Blake. Playoffs, here we come. Definitely put yourself in a good position today after defeating the Atlanta Falcons 29-25. Let's freaking go. Absolutely. Let's go! Let's go out to Roger. I'm taking a shower. We'll be here soon. Go Bears. Okay, appreciate it. What a crazy-ass game. Can we stop running it when we don't need to at certain moments of the game? Again, I go back to the 4th and 2, and Paul says, Mike Evans doesn't make the block. I don't like the play call to run outside. I don't like that at all. But I like the game plan of running the ball, taking time off the clock. And once again, if Baker's not having a good game, you limit those throws and you make this offense balanced, which is what we have been talking about all year long, Harry the Greek. Let's go out to Alex. We should be able to win 2 of the last 4 to finish 9-8. Harry, do you agree? 2 of the last 4 to go 9-8. Your silence speaks volumes for me.
No. I'm trying to think. I'm being honest.
Okay. You got Green Bay next week. You got Jacksonville on Christmas Eve. And then after that, you've got the New Orleans Saints on New Year's Eve. And then you finish out with the Carolina Panthers on the road.
This team can easily go 1-4 in these next 4 games. I don't think so, though. And I'm going to tell you why. Jacksonville is a shell of themselves right now. Green Bay's up or down, always difficult to go ahead and play in 40-degree and colder weather. That's for any team that's come out of the South. Sure. I'm not trying to bring up old problems that Tampa Bay has always had with those narratives. As far as New Orleans is New Orleans. Okay, yeah. They can beat them. Green Bay, it's a coin toss. It really is. It's an absolute coin toss. I feel more confident with them beating Carolina and Jacksonville than I do New Orleans and Green Bay. Go figure.
There you go. All right, we'll get out to Ray in a moment. I want to read the rest of these comments. We'll get him on here. In fact, you know what? Let's go out to Tampa Bay Ray. We'll read the comments together. Tampa Bay Ray, your initial thoughts, and then we'll get back out to the comments here on the Evolution after the Bucs win 29-25. Baker in the 4th quarter, 12 plays, 75 yards, 11-yard touchdown to K-Dot, and go.
Tell you what, no doubt. Baker was the guy to be in there. That's the one thing we can say. Forget about the Tom Brady years, but talking about the Bucs were down and we had to come back and we wanted to drive down the field, and there was no doubt that Baker was the guy for the job. So fantastic job there. Just hated the fact that with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half, Todd Bowles decides to play conservative offense, and that starts to rub down on the team. I think that's the only disconnect with this Buccaneers team in 2023 is the fact that not only is he a defensive-minded coach in Todd Bowles, is that if you're not going to unleash the dogs, and don't be surprised later on when the dogs are in a fight for their lives.
Yep. Well, and hold all his timeouts and just keep him in his pocket for the 2nd week in a row.
Well, he did
the first half.
They did have a mishap there on the punt coverage. I don't know what that was all about, but they call a timeout, so they waste a timeout there, and then they have a challenge later on in the second half where, look, they got the call right. I was surprised because his hand was down. If his hand's not down, that's a touchdown from Baker to Mike Evans, and it's a different game, but
what's the search with the McCollum pass interference? First of all, it took him 20 seconds to get the damn flag out of his pocket. Right. There was no PI on the call whatsoever, and that's when I'm looking at that going, oh, is that one of those ones where we got to keep the line closed for Caesars and MGM and FanDuel? Because at the end of the day, that referee not only had to facsimilate or make up a pass interference that didn't exist, it wasn't even close.
Hey, he could have had 5 dimes on it. I mean, you and I have talked about this even before. All the 3 of us have talked about gambling in the National Football League. I know we're not talking about Buccaneers, but I'm just going to go ahead and bring up a point. I'm going to stand on this soapbox again. There's going to be too much corruption, and it's already started to happen. And you know what? Don't think it ain't happening in these games. They just haven't been really caught. Oh, wait a minute. It happened last year with Indianapolis with the 3 players that got busted for gambling. And by the way, let me remind everybody again. Do you know what game that was? That was against the Minnesota Vikings. And Ray, what did that game so happen to signify? Do you remember or no? you remember the significance of that or no? If you don't, it's okay.
The fact of the matter is, it kept Minnesota out of the playoffs from locking up the NFC North.
No. Minnesota came back and won the game. It was the largest comeback in
against the
NFL
Colts.
history.
Yes.
And that was the game that the 3 players for Indianapolis gambled on. They bet against their own team. But hold on. They only get suspended for a year. How you like me now, Pete?
Oh, I agree. I completely agree with you.
Really?
And that's a very that was
I need to remind people of this about once every 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. If you see those questionable calls like you've seen a couple of years ago, remember the playoffs with the New Orleans Saints in the playoff game?
Wow.
You guys remember that hit that was laid out of bounds in the pass interference and they never called it? Everybody's gonna look at these plays that either never should have happened or that were egregious and never got called, and they're always going to think it has something to do with gambling.
Well, you go back to hold on. You go back to the questionable call there. That was a very questionable call on pass interference.
Sorry about that.
Yes, I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. I don't know what they were looking at.
Worst call I've seen all year. I mean, literally, he wasn't even. Not only did their feet didn't get tangled up, McCollum wasn't even close to him. It was probably the best coverage I've seen McCollum apply all year, and they had to search for a flag. But then I'm like, I turn to Tristan. I go, well, the Falcons ended up scoring 2 plays later. It keeps them within the over/under. It also keeps them within the 3-point, differential. So obviously, there's 10,000 people running to the windows in Vegas making another bet. So
they were searching for so many flags, Ray. They were taking off their cleats to find the socks to throw them out there.
But I'll tell you guys what, though. The best thing about this is I had a generational day today, and Bucs fans out there, lifelong Bucs fans, whether you're a granddad, a dad, or a son, Tristan turned to me in the 4th quarter, and he went, well, of course, the Bucs were still down, but he goes, man, it's hard being a Bucs fan. And I said, welcome to the team, brother. You finally made it.
There you go.
Finally understand what it means.
The corruption all right, corruption.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, well, I think we're all used to it.
I'm used to it.
McCollum, I thought, played well in this game. Before that drive, he had 2 great defensive pass breakups. One on Scotty Miller, where if Ritter puts that ball where it needs to be put, Miller's got a touchdown, but McCollum comes over top, makes that play, and then it looks like Jonnu Smith is going to make a catch. McCollum with the pass breakup there. So big plays by young players stepping in for Jamel Dean, who didn't play in this game. And look, at the end of the day, he hasn't necessarily played up to snuff. So, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Devin White being out of this game, you get an opportunity to look at your young linebackers. And now Jamel Dean being out of this game, you get a chance to look at McCollum. And a lot of fans will criticize his tackling ability and some, being, past, not being where he needs to be with blown coverages. But I tell you right now, you could see the potential there. And the more he plays, I think the better the Bucs are going to be. The better he's going to be. All right.
Great comment, Pete. Great comment.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Let's go back out to these comments here. So we should be able to win 2 out of the 4, 9-8. Ray, agree with that?
Yeah, I totally. This Buccaneers team, if this offense, and you see Dave Canales starting to call these, run around, run Trey Palmer around, run it outside, run where they're not. If this Buccaneers team shows up this next week in Green Bay versus these Packers, that the team we saw today, we still need to see more sustained drives. But I 100% think that this Buccaneers team can go and lay a W on those Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love might be the guy, and Green Bay is getting all lovey-feely and all that. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, this Buccaneers team is still a very talented team. They just need to make sure they don't turn that momentum over by letting the other team get into the game.
Well, and it comes back to, fast starts, and I thought the Bucs got off to a fast start, but once again, they settle for 3. They're not able to put it in the end zone there, and then the defense makes some plays there. Greg Gaines with the sack early on. You had Yaya Diaby, who definitely showed up, Kalijah Cansey, who showed up in this game. I mean, those young players, Diaby and Cansey, guys, are really.
Can I ask you, though?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Carlton Davis interception. I mean, why doesn't Todd Bowles? I get it. At the end of the day, if Todd and Harry, you already pointed out that Bowles sits on those timeouts. Why don't you challenge that? The defender not only had that offensive player not touch Carlton Davis, he did go down on his own volition. But I don't know why Todd Bowles, as a coach of men, as a leader of the bunch of dogs, why don't you throw that red flag on it and make those officials look at that replay? Because I'll challenge any Buccaneer fans out there. And we got great numbers watching this post postgame show. Tell me who out there agrees that Carlton Davis was down on an interception. He just fell on his own volition. But then again, Todd Bowles sits on those flags, and I think that starts to go to where the disconnect with this team is with Todd Bowles as a head coach. We want to see passion, and a passionate coach. You don't tell me that Bruce Arians would have thrown a red flag 7 days a week and twice on game day on that play. I did not see him down.
You know, Ray, I got to tell you, and this is something that's really frustrating. And again, it's easy to jump on the coach and everything else, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. But you can't continue to sit on all these timeouts. You've got to give that offense, for God's sakes, you got to give that offense a break sometimes. Come back and regroup so you're not making the mistake. I understand why he doesn't want to call him sometimes, so that he doesn't allow the defense to go ahead and make adjustments. But you're an offense. The defense always has to guess what the offense is doing. The other thing that really bothers me is they do challenge plays when they shouldn't be challenging them, and they sure as hell aren't challenging the plays that they should be challenging.
Agree.
This is all kind of frustrating when it comes to Todd Bowles. It's easy to jump on him as a head coach, but you know what? You could probably make that argument for the vast majority of the coaches in the National Football League. And it's just like Paul said at one time, and I think he said that in today's game about play calling. If when you make that play call that's really risky, if they make it, everybody's, oh, that's the greatest thing in the world. But if you don't make it, you're like, what the hell were you thinking?
Yeah.
That's for anybody in the National Football League. But yeah, Peter, 2 weeks in a row, they've held three timeouts sitting in his pocket for no reason whatsoever, and they could have put points up on there.
It makes no sense. You got time. It's like you have no confidence in your offense. With that being said, Carlton Davis does make a play there. Bucs get the ball. They go in and score with Baker Mayfield making it 10-3. The ensuing drive there, I don't know if it was Carlton Davis, blown coverage, touchdown to make it 10-10, which is disappointing. Kyle Pitts, former Florida Gator, you guys would know about him, who's been, kind of a man on a milk carton, but he's got that potential. He gets free.
That's a shame, buddy. When he came out of college, and any one of the three of us here think that he would be a can't-miss prospect.
His first touchdown of the season comes in Week 14 versus the Bucs. I'm like, really? His first touchdown of the season? That's the reason why the Bucs are back in first place here in the South here in 2023.
Just think about that for a minute. I mean, this guy, you could line him up anywhere. On both sides of the tackles. Sure. You can line them up in the slot. You can line them completely
sounds like O.J. Howard. Just kidding. But I mean,
enough with the O.J. Howard stuff, but I think you're right. Kyle Pitts can line up anywhere.
I miss O.J. Howard.
Well,
not the attitude though. Not the attitude, but O.J. Howard, my God.
I miss Dalvin Cook. That should have been the pick in the first place over an O.J. Howard. Sorry, it still burns me. 6 plays, 75 yards by the Atlanta Falcons to tie it at 10. Bucs get back the ball. Of course, they go for 4th down and 2. As we mentioned, they get stuffed. Bucs get a break, though, because Atlanta drives, go for a 50-yard field goal. And Iku misses a 50-yard field goal after the announcer is saying he hasn't missed any field goal.
Love that.
He misses it. I believe it was a doink. So he doinks it off there just for you, Harry.
You had to do – Peter, you didn't just go there, did you?
I did. I had to go there.
You didn't go doink doink.
Well, you did. Well, he did it.
Hold on.
Times doink.
Hold on. There was a doink rollover. How about that?
There you go.
Exactly. Doink.
Shut up, Ray. Then Antoine Winfield Jr. gets a safety, 12-10 there. Of course, getting a safety, the Bucs take the lead, 12-10. I tell you what, let's go back out to the comments here. Open phone lines also, if you want to call up. We'll get back to the scoring, but you guys kind of already know. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. On with yours truly. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Harry the Greek, and of course, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay, talking to you about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and that big-time win over the Atlanta Falcons, 29-25. To move to first place. JTS needs to not be here next season. He got juked into the multiverse. Agree with you on that. With the Desmond Ridder touchdown, I thought he was going to make the tackle. He's got him squared up. He allows Ridder to escape. I get it. Ridder's got some mobility, but come on, that's not Patrick Mahomes out there. We've seen that too many times. And then Ridder does it early on in the game. to the aforementioned Carlton Davis, which drives a lot of fans crazy, and I understand.
Which is what you can't make the excuse for Joe Tryon Shoyinka that the reason why he doesn't get the sacks is because he over pursues.
Right.
But then when he has a chance to get Ritter and stop him short of the foul goal line, he not only does not over pursue, but he seems to just disappear into oblivion. And I hate to say this about the former Washington Husky. I hate to say this about Joe Tryon, but truth of the matter is, I think we're seeing it with Yaya Diaby and the way the rest of this defense is being run, that the pick in 2020 on a JTS looks like it may have just been one of those, a depth piece for the Buccaneers, and 100% probably gone another year or two.
Well, he's just a rotational piece. He's just a guy at this point. Let me go out to Roger Shu, the Tribal Troll, using his second call. What's on your mind? Thanks a lot for the super chat.
Just going to call and ask you if you got the super chat for the Greek.
I did. Super chat for the Greek. He don't hang up on me. Go Bears. But guess what? That money's going in my pocket.
Here comes the money.
Wait, whose pocket?
Hold on. Just out of curiosity. Hold on. I want everybody out there right now to look at this comment, and it says, Roger Shu, $50 for the Greek. He doesn't hang up on me. But Peter says the money's going in his pocket. Ray, I'll start with you. Do you think it goes to Peter?
Is it for his Tinder account, or are we talking about straight up to pay
I don't
bills?
know. I don't know. I have no idea. But I implore anybody that's out there. Wait a minute. That's right, Peter. Let me get this right. My wife always said, my money's my money, meaning hers. Your money's my money. But now I got you too.
Well, guess what? It's on my YouTube channel, so it's going right to me because a Peter is a terrible thing to waste. Go ahead.
Wait, a Peter is a terrible thing to waste? Hold on, a Harry Peter?
Harry. Really, Ray?
Shut up, Ray. Be
Sorry.
quiet, idiots.
Harry, that could buy you a nice bottle of Ouzo, bro.
Oh,
He'll never do it though. That's the whole thing. You just cash app, bro. Next
Gracious.
time, please. Not Peter.
Gracious.
I never get nothing. The $5 and $10 you sent from before, I haven't even gotten a
One
French fry.
friend right there that kisses your ass and gives you $50. Go ahead.
I know.
Ray.
It's the largest amount of stars you've ever caught. And hold on.
That's
it was
BS.
because of who?
Not.
Hold on.
He's giving
It
me
was for
$100.
the Greek.
You know what? Let's make a challenge. Let's go ahead. YouTube super chats are open. If you like what I put out there, if you like what Harry puts out there,
What about me?
YouTube chats. Yeah, you too, Ray. Go ahead. Your comments are definitely in the gutter today. And also, Facebook stars are also available. Come on.
YouTube chats, guys. Put them out there. Seriously, we need the money.
We need the money. YouTube super chats, and of course,
I
Facebook
mean,
stars.
hasn't anybody? Because we have to support the guy below us. I mean, hasn't anybody seen him? He's got the cardboard box. He's out there. He looks really good all the time.
The guy who blows us? What?
No, the guy that's with the cardboard box for travel. The guy below us over here, not blows, but below us. He's always out there, giving you the content. It's raining out, and he's got his little shade over the top of him. That's where he lives.
Well, you can't do it now because there's a tornado watch out there, so be safe. I think that is expired, but it was earlier on. It was for all the surrounding counties, including Pasco and Pinellas, so be safe, guys. Take shelter. Tornado watch basically means there is a chance for tornadic activity in the area.
Tornadic. Thank you,
Tornadic.
Paul Delgado.
Thank you. Yes, Dennis Phillips taught me that. All right, Roger, go ahead.
So, do I need to send a donation to Ray?
No, I don't care who.
No, because if you send a donation to Ray, it still goes to Peter Malaka.
Okay, I understand.
Sucks.
Knowledge from the Greek.
It still goes to Peter. The Greek never sees $1. Not even a French fry, euro, not even a piece of baklava.
It's my network. I give you the opportunity to be on it. You're in my world. Welcome to my world. All right, what else, Roger?
What do I got to do to give Harry a piece of baklava?
Oh my God! Why don't you go and bring him some wine and roses for the love of God?
Oh my God! It's like
he already tried to
over here.
Can you talk some football here? Can we talk some football? I mean, is it Valentine's Day or is it after a Bucs win
we
here?
can talk football.
Did the Bears beat the Lions today?
They beat the brakes off of them. I mean, they beat the brakes off.
All right, victory Monday for all of us. You got your Christmas present for the year. Congratulations. Happy New Year. Hopefully.
Opa.
There you go. All right, Roger. What else?
Opa.
All right, there you go. On that, that's it.
Thank you, Roger. No, really, Roger, I want to thank you for the money. That was really, really nice of you, buddy. It wasn't necessary.
Yeah, thank you for the money. Appreciate it.
Roger's good people.
Can we take that off the screen there for me, please?
I'm doing it right now. I just found it. I'm sorry, Pete.
See, you see, I give you control, and there you go. You got it. All right.
Wait, you got Harry producing your show, Peter? You don't want to produce my show on Friday nights? What the heck?
He likes a Harry Peter to produce the show, Ray.
Listen, I heard
the competition is stiff.
Roger. Why I called you Roger? I'm losing it. Ray, Roger, Harry, anybody at this point. Save
Roger, anybody.
727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Alex says we should be able to win 3 out of the last 4 to finish 9-8.
On a serious note, I'd really like to start a narrative here, and I'd love everybody to go ahead and post it on here. Do you think this team realistically can finish 9-8? Take a look at the rest of the schedule. I can see them going 1-3. It wouldn't surprise me to see 2-2. I'm not worried about Jacksonville. I want to hear from you guys out there. Put the comments out there. What do you think the final record is going to be? And do the Bucs make the playoffs?
And also give to YouTube playoffs and Facebook stars. Great question, Harry the Greek. An ugly win, but a win no less. We come up with a solid run play today. Absolutely, and I believe that is Kyle. Kyle, thanks a lot on I Love St. Pete. Christopher Cole, way too conservative in the first half. Agree, Michael. Amen. We're number 1. Ha, fire those cannons. Yes. Michael, also Facebook stars. He's given a lot of Facebook stars. Appreciate you. Bull said that the Falcons defense was playing a cover 2 shell. That's why they ran up the middle. Good. Welcome back home, Tampa. Michael Penix Jr. Thank you, Anthony Richardson. Of course,
that would be a blessing.
That would be a blessing, and we'll see how it works out. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to fall the top 10 because
I'm going to tell you right now, Peter, I think you were right about that kid. He might be the best quarterback in that draft.
Wait,
I love Drake May. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
I think Peter might be right on that.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You're on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, which is crazy today, but I love this show after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in first place, beating the Atlanta Falcons 29-25. Go.
Hey, how y'all doing today, man? This is Chris, and I was just calling in to say, Bucs won.
Yeah, Bucs won. So your thoughts on this? I know the offense wasn't necessarily what you wanted. I think a lot of Bucs fans out there didn't like the offense, but in that last couple of drives there in the fourth quarter, they make up for it. Go ahead and give me your thoughts, Tristan.
Yeah, I thought the offense was actually pretty good. I just think Baker Mayfield was trash.
I think that's fair to say. I mean, you look at the numbers, he was not good for the majority of the day. He went 14 for 29, 144, 2 touchdowns. But again, I will mention he made some big throws on that last drive, of course, to Chris Godwin. But he was not at his best today. Not at all. I agree.
I mean, I think this kind of been how he's been looking all season, Peter.
Well, and I think, to a certain degree, that's a fair assessment. But I would also say that he has won this team some games with not only.
I think this caller is accurate.
Well,
wait, no, I want to finish it with the caller's accurate, but on that last drive where we're down 2, for some reason there's this moment of this calmness that came over me, and I realized that for this 2023 Buccaneers team, this team right now where we're at, whether we're scrapping for the NFC South 3rd title in a row or not for the 3rd year in a row, Baker was the guy to have at quarterback. And I kept telling Tristan, look, don't go bomb. We don't need it all at once. We just need a leader. And that's what we saw in Baker today, is a leader who did not turn the ball over. And although he didn't, come off the sheet with the big stats, didn't throw Chris Godwin, you should have stayed on your feet instead of diving for that ball. Mrs. Godwin, we'll hear from you tomorrow. But Baker was the guy to have that leadership in the quarterback role today. And he 100% was the guy who got us that victory over the Falcons.
Nah, I can't let you sell that to me, man.
Okay, I tried.
The reality of the matter is that Baker is the one who put us in that position. And with $40 million worth of wide receivers and going to the end of the third quarter with only 100 yards passing is crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm in church, son. Keep preaching.
He's preaching.
Yeah, Lord. I'll shock him about it. But yeah, man, you just gotta go through it. And when you look at it and you break it down, we should have had, the opportunity was there to put up points. And like with Baker and the ineptitude and the reason why Canales is running the ball so much is he's trying to take the ball out of Baker's hand.
Which I don't have a problem with, because
Neither do I.
Coming into this year, that's kind of what we talked about, right? I mean, this is why we thought this team could be somewhat successful in this division, because we knew that Baker had a problem with turning over the ball, which he did not do today, to his credit. But also we would have games where he's not as accurate. He has to play better, but you depend on your running game. Your running game comes through. Again, a lot of people forget about New Orleans, winning that game. A lot of people forget about Minnesota winning that game. This was not all on the defense, and the defense, I think, for the first half was pretty good. The second half, you give it those big plays, especially when that offense gives you the lead, you give it up, and then you're like, okay, this is on the offense. The offense did their job in that quarter. I agree with you. You got to have more from Baker Mayfield, but I don't have a problem with depending on that running game. And look, guys, if you have to win ugly, it's a win. It's a better win than a loss. Would you rather have an ugly win against the Atlanta Falcons, or would you rather have a pretty loss, which was still ugly, versus the Houston Texans where you score 37 points, but you give up 39? I'd rather have that ugly win, establish the run game, have balance, not turn over the ball. And their defense played well today. They did. They caused turnovers, but again, too many big plays, too many blown coverages for my taste. What did you say?
Well, I see a lot of irony looking at this football team versus the projections at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the season, I was like, it's a rebuild, and I didn't expect much. But then as I look at it on the flip side, this is still a Super Bowl offense with key players from that Super Bowl run who proved to be Super Bowl players.
Well,
everybody in that offense.
No, Peter,
is built to win except for Baker.
I don't know if this is a Super Bowl offense because, again, you still have breakdowns on the offensive line.
Well, you've got a rookie, you've got a second-year tight end, and you still have a transitioning offensive line, and of course, a Baker Mayfield instead of Tom Brady. But at the end of the day, the caller's right. You still have a lot of dogs that are playing on this 2023 Buccaneers offense that they have a ring from 2020. They know what it takes to get there. They know what kind of a sacrifice it took to make it there. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's a drop down automatically, because the Rams ended up looking today like the Rams that won the Super Bowl the year after. But the fact of the matter is, this Buccaneers offense still has quite a few dogs that have been to the promised land. They know what it takes to get there, and we just need to see what they teach the young guys like Cody Mock and Baker Mayfield to show them the Buccaneer way so we can get back to 58.
I think it's a fair assessment to say they definitely have veterans on this team that can make plays, but Chris Godwin was somewhat largely disappointing today, especially when they were trying to get him the ball. Too many drops. Again, makes a big catch in that last drive, but too far in between there. You got to make more catches, and I agree with you. Give credit to where credit is due. The Atlanta Falcons definitely shut out Mike Evans, but you got to find a way to get him the ball, because he definitely, if you don't have Mike Evans in this offense, you can see they struggle to a certain degree, definitely struggle. But you're exactly right. They do have players on this team. I don't think this offense is nowhere near that Super Bowl offense. And of course, it goes back to Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield. Two different quarterbacks. Way too many missed throws by Mayfield today. I never said that Mayfield was going to be, the greatest, but I tell you right now, that kid plays his ass off. He plays hard. He didn't turn over the ball today. He depended on the running game. I'll take that effort. Again, this offense has to, fix this stuff, because Atlanta, I don't think they're a great team, but they're the best team in your division. You just beat them for first place. Tristan, what else?
Am I the only Bucs fan, though, that was waiting for the second half to start to see if Kyle Trask was warming up to go out there? And I'm not putting Baker down, but I'm at the point that at halftime, I hadn't seen enough offense that I'm like, okay, if Bruce Arians was a coach of this team at halftime in the exact same scenario, there's no doubt that Kyle Trask is warming up to go in there to start the second half. Am I wrong on that?
I think you're wrong on that, because I think Bruce always has loved Baker Mayfield, and maybe it's not just Baker. Maybe it's the offense that he's being put into. Maybe it's the scheme that he's being put into that's not working. I think BA would get the most out of him. I think that's a tough comparison. You're exactly right, though. If this team did struggle with Baker Mayfield, then most likely they would go with Kyle Trask. But there is a reason right now why you have Baker Mayfield, and it is that exact reason on the fourth quarter when you put the ball in his hands. He does have that experience factor. He didn't turn over the ball. He made just enough plays to win you a game. That's the reason why he's in there. Kyle Trask, once again, I get it. Lots of potential, but you don't know what you got because he hasn't gotten the snaps there. And I don't think they're ready to do that. I don't think they're ready to throw him into the fire and have him and experience the rookie bumps in the road, if you will. Tristan.
Are you okay, Harry? Are you okay?
Perfect, buddy. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, Tristan, anything else here on the sports web?
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing, and I hope that we can put to bed these narratives. But if you ever notice when we have a commentator, like today we had a defensive commentator in Artem Archuleta, former safety in NFL, played at a very high level.
It was
And
horrible.
like he literally called the defense exactly for what it was. Schematically, Bowles has these guys in the right places. They're just not making the plays. And that he specifically pointed out to Tryon Shoyinka just not setting the edge on the outside against Desmond Ridder and allowing him to get beat and turn it into a foot race. I think that today we saw what coaching is doing versus what the players are doing just based on some of these scenarios that we were put in and what we saw today. We saw with Canales on his coaching perspective, sticking with the run game, even though fans were like, why are you still running the ball? Why are we still running the ball? And it's starting to pay very large dividends. So shout out to coaching, and let's give coaching their props.
Love it. Good stuff there. Let me give you the branding. Tristan, appreciate the call. Use that second call if you want to here on the Evolution. All right, my friend?
Got it.
All right, good stuff there. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Harry the Greek, I know you got to get out of here, so go ahead and give me some final thoughts after a Bucs big win over the Atlanta Falcons, 29-25 in Atlanta.
It was a great gameplay. I'm sorry, a great game that was called, especially as Peter would say in the fourth quarter on that last drive. Listen, a win is a win. That's it. Next week, you're not going to remember how they won. Have to keep running the football. Peter, thanks for having me on. Ray, lock it down with him. Keep it going. And as the one famous Rick Hughes says, go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs. And what did you have for dinner?
The angry producer is out of here. Great stuff, Harry.
See you, brother. Take care, Harry.
He goes in that direction, and I can't. What are you drinking there, Ray? You were drinking? All right.
It's not I'm drinking. I'm gonna play a little ditty for you guys.
Please don't play me anything at all.
This guy sucks.
You're not a musician, and I don't want to get Facebook jail after me or Facebook.
Oh God! With my luck, I'd get lucky, and I would be like the Foo Fighters, and it would sound so good that we'd get copyrighted.
There goes my hero. Okay, JTS needs to be not here next season. He got juked into the multiverse. We should be able to win 3 out of the 4 to go finish 9-8. I don't know who this is. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on the Sports Web, but yours truly, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy.
Hello, this is Josh. How you doing?
Doing good, Josh. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. The Bucs won.
Yeah.
I would say I feel like we're giving, after listening, I feel like we're giving Baker too much of a pass.
I'm definitely not giving it a pass. I mean, I've said this over and over again. I don't think he's necessarily played his best football. Today, he didn't play well. The stats didn't lie. But I will give him credit to where credit is due. That last drive, if you don't have Baker Mayfield, making some big passes and finding, of course, Chris Godwin to set you up there, and then, Cade Otton
touchdown, yeah.
And I think to give him credit, the last 2 drives, your defense gives it up there, and the Bucs, the onus is put right back on the offense again. So I'm definitely not giving Baker a break, but I know there's people out there saying, move Baker out of there, and then you got Kyle Trask. But you got a guy who's you never been in the National Football League. You're in the playoff chase at this point. You're going to switch quarterbacks. Playoffs. You're going to switch quarterbacks at this point. I mean, you tell me.
The reason. Okay, but when Baker was named the starter, I gave us 6 wins this season.
Okay,
we at that mark already.
Correct.
The only game I see us winning that's a win for us is the last game against Carolina.
Okay, so you don't like them against New Orleans? You don't think they could beat New Orleans?
Slightly. No.
Why?
Because it's New Orleans.
What is New Orleans? They beat New Orleans. They swept New Orleans last year, and they beat them this year. Did you watch the game? 26-9.
That was last year with Brady last year.
Okay, but
we won this year as well.
Okay.
But we don't, for some reason, we don't have a good game plan against New Orleans. Even then, we're going to be at home. And it's technically, and it's a primetime game.
Okay. It's not a primetime game. It's New Year's Eve. I don't think it's a primetime. You got Jacksonville, which is also Christmas Eve, and you got Green Bay next week. So it's a tough slate, but there are some winnable games.
It's a tough slate, but the only thing I see as 100, like when I say advantage, I say 60-40. The only game I feel like we're a 60-40 advantage in is Carolina.
Okay.
Easily.
All right. That's
anything
fair.
else, it's a 50-50 shot, I feel like.
Okay.
But my thing is everybody's pushing for Trask only because everybody wasn't happy with the Baker Mayfield pickup.
That's fine.
And that's okay.
Right.
But I will say this. Baker is doing better than I expected out of him this season, only because he's minimizing turnovers.
Correct.
Yeah, good point.
And that's the point of contention coming in, because you get Baker because he's a veteran starter. He's been in this league before. We knew that he had some troubles with turnovers and not making necessarily the proper decisions. But, how do you counteract that? You run the ball. That's exactly what this team did today. That's exactly what they've done the last 3 weeks. So, again, I get it. It's not the prettiest offensive football, and Baker may not necessarily be completing what he should be doing, what he shouldn't be, completing more passes and, of course, playing better than he has. But you're still winning games.
But
again,
Pete, you want to talk about a lost cause? You, Cleveland Browns fan, okay? You've got a 73-year-old Joe Flacco leading you guys to victory with that killer defense, and you've got Deshaun Watson, who's injured again for whatever reason. He didn't have a happy ending. There's the period of lead. But the fact of the matter is Baker was there in Cleveland 2 years ago, and Cleveland could have still been having success with Baker at quarterback. I think that Kevin Stefanski was like, well, Baker's just that guy that's good enough to just not do anything to lose the game for you, but we want to go for the all-out, let's get Deshaun Watson. They trade away their soul.
And it hasn't worked out. It's been
all.
a failure. It's been a failure.
Yes.
And we know that, look, you can win with the DLG quarterback. Again, I'm not sitting here saying Baker Mayfield is the greatest quarterback of all time. What I will say is when he doesn't turn over the ball and he has the opportunity to make some of those throws, which the offensive line has been very questionable this year, giving him the time. But when they give him the time and when his guys are catching the passes today, because we saw how many passes throughout the year, how many passes in this game did Chris Godwin drop when you're trying to make a concerted effort?
Or Mike Evans or Chris Godwin.
Right. I mean, it's not
that's
just
the
Baker.
problem. The problem is that I turned to Tristan and I said, Tom Brady would have demanded every one of his receivers on the field, you better be goddamn ready to catch this ball, because it may or may not come to you, but you better be ready. And that's one thing that maybe the disconnect with Baker Mayfield is because he's just such a gamer and a great guy. He's not going to Tom Brady you out on the line of this. But you know what? These receivers need to be goddamn ready, because the fact of the matter is that the rubber band man arm guy, Baker Mayfield, he may get the pass to you, Chris Godwin, and you better not be diving for a catch when you should have had to read and make that catch. That should have been a touchdown on that one reception that he didn't catch. And I'm waiting for Mrs. Godwin to call in on Monday and make a complaint about that. Guess what? She won't say anything tomorrow, because the fact of the matter is, the fact of the matter is that Chris dropped the ball on that one. He didn't catch it. I get it. He didn't pick it up. You can tell he didn't see where it was. But at the end of the day, Baker will deliver it. But these receivers better be ready for that delivery, whether or not you think he'll get it there, because when it does get there and you're not ready, it really shows up.
He had a couple drops today, but again, he had a big catch down the stretch, had a couple big catches down the stretch. So you're exactly right. This offense has been up and down. To answer your question, caller, I think you basically answered it. There's a lot of people out there, not the biggest Baker Mayfield fans, and that's fine. A lot of people are Florida Gator fans and they want Traskin, and that's also fine. But at the end of the day, if this Bucs organization feels like Baker is going to give them the best chance to win, even with the offensive struggles, but you're still winning, I'm okay to go with that. That was my big time concern, is if you bring in a Kyle Trask, you don't know what you're getting. And then also with the guy that hasn't gotten the snaps, you're going to go through those bumps in the road for a rookie quarterback, because essentially that's what he is. Todd Bowles doesn't want to go through that. They didn't come here to go through a rebuild. They came here to win the division, and that's why they go with Baker. What else, Josh?
And see, that's the issue right there. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of years ago when everybody was calling for Mike Glennon, the Golden Boy, who didn't have no experience, but let's throw him out there because he can't be worse than this, what we're doing.
Tell me about it. There you go. Exactly.
Trask can get out there and possibly could be worse. He could be possibly better. Well, we don't know what he could be because he don't have no experience. But we do know this. We have contracts that got to get re-signed. We got players that's going to be missing next season.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we're going to be in position to have to get a quarterback in this draft if we're going to be missing a Devin White or possibly a Mike Evans.
Well, I tell you right now, I think Evans is more likely to re-sign at this juncture. I don't think Devin White's earned a contract. I think the Bucs will move on, and they'll go with, and that may be a position where you address it in free agency or you go in-house with a Russell, a Savasier Dennis, or a KJ Britt. Good stuff, Josh. Anything else here on the Sports Web?
No, that'll be all.
All right, man.
Have a good time.
Yeah, man.
I'm good listening to you.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Use that second call if you want to. New callers, I love it. Love it. New call, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So ugly win is an ugly win. Christopher Cole, way too conservative in the first half. Fire the cannons. We did that. I want to catch up on these comments. Get AWJ a blank check. Dude needs to be an all-pro this year. Agree. Anthony Richardson, JTS needs time to develop. Tristan Baker was point shaving. Harry, I'm eating a hero, real Greek food. Christopher Cole, it's like Bowles doesn't trust Baker, and he puts handcuffs on the offense. Agree?
Yeah, it seemed like that when everyone run late in the fourth quarter. It's like, do you trust this guy or not? But
I don't have a problem with running because you're having success. And I was
Right.
looking to my mom. I watched the game with my mom because it's a good thing because she's a good luck charm. Every time you watch the game with mom, the Bucs
Mom
win.
is- yes.
Right. And I was telling her, you run on first down. A lot of people criticize it because you don't get anything. But if you're getting, 4 to 5 yards, then that second down, it opens up the playbook. And when you're having success, you're getting 4, 5, 6 yards. It makes those third downs even more manageable, or you can pick up the first down. I mean,
Well,
that's
Peter,
the thing.
it's just like no,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
know those end arounds where you got Trey Palmer or whomever, and they're running a quick end around, and it goes for 2 yards, and I'm like, but that makes the defense play you honest. That opens up the middle for a Kate Otten or for a Chris Godwin. So at the end of the day, no, the offense today, the calls today were pretty spot on, and I don't think there were many wasted plays as far as the offensive calls. There may have been a few wasted plays as far as maybe a missed open receiver, but for the end of the day, I think this offense is working exactly like it's supposed to in 2023.
And I just don't think Baker was good today. And I'm willing to admit that. And anybody that's going to come on here and say, well, you're giving Baker a break, I'm not, because I've been very fair in this assessment. I think he gives you the best chance to win. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have basically told you he gives you the best chance to win. Simply what happened today. You don't turn over the ball. You don't necessarily stats-wise have the greatest game. But when you need a drive or two in a crunch time situation, he's able to have the experience enough to make those plays. Go Bucs.
But can we all agree though? If it's 4th and 1,
yes.
If it's 4th and 1 and you're showing run to the left, maybe have Baker keep the ball and try to split out to the right. Because
Well,
they
got
blew
in-
that one up.
Right, you're exactly right on the 4th and 2, but also go into that big 4th down there where you accomplish it. You get 4 yards on a 4th and 1 going for it at that point, because that could be the game. That's a major
huge.
4th down conversion, and consequently, I think the Bucs are something like, I was looking at this, like 8 for 13, or now like 9 for 14 when it comes to 4th downs this year. So when it comes to going for 4th down, they're pretty successful.
Yes, sir.
JTS completely missed the tackle. Thank you, Mike. Says big play from Baker to the motorcade. Absolutely. I know it was an ugly game, but shouldn't division games be ugly games? What would Ric Flair say? He would say, woo! He would say also he's the dirtiest player in the game. And if the Bucs have to be the dirtiest team in the NFL and win these games and get to the playoffs and win the NFC South, so be it. Michael says, unbelievable game. Christopher Cole, like I said last week, gritty, not pretty. I like it. Mike COC, 3rd straight 100-yard game. Absolutely, the running game seems to be coming alive. What do you see from the young man in white?
I'll tell you what, I see the other 31 teams in the NFL looking at this Buccaneers team and are going, wait, they still got a pretty darn good defense. They still got a lot of dogs that have a ring from 55, and now they're starting to find a running game here in Week 14 as they get ready to possibly win a South for the 3rd consecutive time. I see a lot of other teams, even the Cowboys and Niners and even the Eagles, that are looking at this Buccaneers team going, wow, if this team gets hot at the right time, that could be trouble.
That could be trouble. You're exactly right. You just got to get in. All right, let's go back out to the phone lines here on the Evolution. Just burning up today. Love you, Bucs fans, after the Bucs are in first place. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Eric from Lakeland, Florida. What's going on, Peter?
What's going on,
Huge-
Eric? Give me your
huge
thoughts on the
Bucs.
game. Yes, huge. Get
Hey,
excited. Yes.
Hey, a win's a win, man. A win's a win.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be, hey, a win's a win. You win by 1, you win by 28. I thought the play calling early was I mean, why are you calling a toss play on
4th and 2? Yeah, I don't
4th
get
and
it.
2?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't like the play. I don't like
do
it.
like a rollout PA bootleg. But hey, win to win. I mean, they held Atlanta to under 100 yards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
No Vita.
Well, no Vita, and you have all those
Huge.
injuries there. That's a huge win for you. Whether, Atlanta wanted to run the ball or not, when they were trying to run the ball, they had some plays, but not big plays. They held Atlanta in check. Absolutely. The thing for me, as I go back to it with the defense, still blown coverages, too many big plays to keep the Atlanta Falcons in the game. But it's neither here nor there. They get it done as a complete team effort. What else?
It's a playoff game every week. If they lose next week, then this game didn't really matter because the Panthers play the Falcons and the Giants play the Saints. So Bucs got to win, keep the momentum, and then I think if they win the rest of the division games, I think they got it.
Okay,
maybe
and
still the Jags or Packers game.
Yeah, you got the Packers, you got the Jags on Christmas Eve. So we'll be live from Raymond James Stadium. We'll be we'll be there covering that game, giving you the whole.
Are you getting me credentialed, Peter? Are you getting me credentialed?
We'll see.
I'm just kidding, brother. I love you. Hey, you and I are covering the ReliaQuest Bowl, and I mean we're talking about the Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner with LSU.
Yeah.
I hope we're on board with that with LSU versus, again, it's going to be a great game over there at the ReliaQuest Bowl versus the Wisconsin Badgers. But yeah, I was just messing with you. No, I'm just excited that this victory today. It was a big deal today, and like the caller said, win our divisional games. But I still think we have a good shot against these Green Bay Packers this week because even though they're an improving team in the NFC North, the fact of the matter is this Buccaneers team. You catch them on the right, in Green Bay. Let Baker and the boys go in there with a little bit of attitude. I think we can 100% secure this victory this week.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they do. It's a tough matchup versus the Green Bay Packers, who have shown signs of life, and Jordan Love, a fastly improving quarterback here, and Christian Watson, the Tampa Tornado, will be something to contend with when it comes to Carlton Davis. Looking at you, my friend, to hold him down and lock him down. What else, Eric?
He missed this week with a hamstring, so I don't know. He's had hamstrings in the past. So it'll be interesting this week, especially in the cold weather.
It'll definitely be interesting this week in the cold weather. We'll see. We'll monitor that situation, but you have to feel good, don't you, here, Eric, if Christian Watson doesn't play in this game for the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I know Carlton with all the groin, but I heard he's going to try to – I don't know. Unless Dean can come back. I mean, they didn't put him on IR. Next week will be 4 games, so you would think if they thought he was going to miss, they would put him on IR. So
wait a minute, though. The Bucs below 38 degrees. Don't we have a problem with playing in cold weather games?
No, of course not.
42.
That's the old narrative.
That's the old Buccaneers. Come on now. This team's got to go on the road and win some games. You're exactly right, Eric. They're in playoff mode at this juncture. All right. So you think they can win 3 out of the 4 games, go 9-8, right?
Yeah, I think even 8 and 9, but I think Atlanta has the Colts left. So if we're 8 and 9, both, gotta hope they have the tiebreaker. So, but yeah, 3 and 1, yeah, if they could beat Packers and then the Panthers and then Saints will be tough because that's here, but we already beat them. So
you already beat them. The Saints didn't really show a lot today versus the Panthers. They struggled also versus the Panthers. Derek Carr wasn't the greatest.
28-6, but yeah, it's the Panthers.
Well, early on in the game, they were definitely struggling.
Is Dennis Allen a Saints coach in 2024? Do you guys?
I don't think
so.
No. I think there's certainly a possibility he could be fired. So we'll see how that works out. But of course, tough games. You're in the driver's seat today. You take that next step forward because now you're in first place over the Atlanta Falcons. Now you basically, to me, you've got to win the majority of these games, of course. Winning 3 out of 4, I think it's certainly possible, but you're exactly right. You got to keep on winning because Atlanta and the Saints are right behind you. Great stuff, Eric. Appreciate you as always. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Jeff says credit for getting out the W, but man, we still have the same old issues that keep showing up. Agree, Jeff. Again, you tried to call in. Appreciate you commenting in here from I Love St. Pete. Also, that PI against McCollum was absolute trash. Mike D. Roche, stop complaining. We won the bloody game. Yes, it wasn't a masterpiece on both ends, but Bucs won. 24, 27, 31, 52. Had a good game. 24K. So Carlton Davis, McCollum, 31, of course, is Antoine Winfield Jr. And 52 is KJ Brett, who showed up
Great
today.
Game. KJ showed up today.
Yes. Steve says, crapshoot with this quarterback and coordinator. Can't really tell if it's Baker holding them back or the play calling. Love both but Atlanta was missing a lot of pieces. Thank you very much, Steve, for commenting. JTS needs to go. He is hot garbage. Mike says refs won't. We're trying to tip the scales in Atlanta's favor with the bad PI call. McCollum again. A call that to me very questionable. I think they missed it, and that's a critical call there that extends that drive and gives Atlanta that second chance.
And that's just it, though. I'm not trying to call. I mean, because there's these referees are doing a great job, week in and week out, making these plays. These players are twice their size, twice as fast, and these referees are doing a great job. But that, to me, and I responded. I totally posted on my Facebook page that crossed the line, because not only was go back and we can watch it. We can play it over and over. Not only was there no PI on that call, but it was third down, and that call would have made it fourth down, and that felt like the most egregious call of 2023. Egregious, Leo word.
Yes.
Leo word. But it's like you had to search for that PI, and it was non-existent. There wasn't any contact at all. McCollum had the perfect coverage. He literally played that as perfect as a cornerback or a defender can play. So I don't mean to, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so what is the reason why the officials call that? What is your thinking there? And my thinking there is that the officials are thinking, let's try to keep it as close as possible. Again, I don't want to put words in the officials' mouths, but that was the worst call I've seen so far in 2023 at the professional level. And we ended up winning the game, so I'm not just crying over spilt milk. My problem is that if you're trying to make that PI call, then what is your reasoning for that, official? Why are you trying to make a call that was non-existent?
All right, let's go out to Michael Walker. Thanks, Peter, for taking my call. Good morning, Tampa Bay. Absolutely always welcome, Mr. Walker. Let's go out to Paul. Love it, Michael. Absolutely. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Bucs are 2-0 without Devin White. Laugh out loud. Harry, shut up. Mike says, hey, Harry, how are the Bears holding up? Mike getting at the Bears fans there, being Harry, leading the charge. The defense scored as Peter said they would. Absolutely. Thank you, Michael, very much for commenting on that. Mike D. Roche. Bucs could go 10-7, which, by the way, if you watch this show, who said 10-7?
I think Mr. Peter Blitz is at 10-7.
There you go, 10-7. So it's certainly possible. It's still out there. You know where I lie. I think they're going to win out. They're going to win out here at 10-7. You know why? Because I don't like being wrong. We'll see. One game at a time, right? I am in love with Big Baby. Okay, I don't know what that is. Who's Big Baby? Is that Kalijah Cansey you're talking about? Britt dropped a pick 6. He did. Justin Fields is quarterback number 1, better than Baker. Adam says, Ravens beat the Rams in overtime. How about that? Alexander, really? It's Young Hoku was the MVP because we did not play good enough to win. Yeah, 2 missed field goals. But again, give credit to where credit is due. The defense made enough plays. The offense made enough plays at the end. Everyone, Shadow here. What's going on, Jeremiah? Woo! As the Shadow is here, as he's always here on the Sports Web. They need to be talking about who is the next coach. Well, I think Todd Bowles has survived so far another week of wine and roses, or in this case, I guess crackers and hot dogs for a lot of Bucs fans. They want him to be fired. They need to be talking about who's the next coach. I mean, you're 6-7. You're leading the NFC South. I don't think he's going to be fired anytime soon. We'll see. Let's not jump to conclusions here, because everybody's like, let's fire the coach. Let's fire the coach. Let's get a new quarterback. Let's get this guy. Let's get that guy. I understand the frustration, but understand the situation is that you're about to win the NFC South and you put yourself in the driver's seat today. So let's not always go with, let's fire the coach. Let's fire the coach. I understand the frustration again, but they still have an opportunity to make the playoffs there. And who knows? Playoffs. If you make the playoffs, you never know what's going to happen. Pete, the Greekites are here to protect the Greek. Okay. I didn't know you need protection. But go about your bad self. Diaby should start every game. 45 should never set foot on the field again as a Buck. Cole says that. Christopher Cole, how about the god-awful defensive pass interference on Zion? We've been talking about that. The secondary is garbage. Uchina, the defense is garbage. Okay. This is not the defensive issue. To me, it's a defensive issue. In my opinion, it is a defensive issue to a certain degree. You can't keep on giving up big plays. You can't keep on having blown coverages. Did the defense make plays today? Yes. Did the defense keep this team in the game today with the struggling offense? Yes. But did the offense bail them out? Yes. Let's be fair about it. Let's have the same energy.
Yeah, good call.
It's not a defensive issue. All right, let's go out to Fat Mike. Fat Mike from Chicago. Congratulations, first of all, on your Bears beating the Detroit Lions, ruining your draft position, but that's okay. A win is a win, and of course the Bucs win. Welcome to the
Panthers.
Sports.
The Panthers are giving you guys number 1 overall, Mike. So don't even call and complain.
All right.
How's it going, buddies? How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good.
I wanted to say I was flipping back and forth. You know, I got the ticket here, so I'm flipping back and forth between games and stuff like that. And that Bucs team, they're in rough shape right now, but they seem to keep getting it done over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't know how they keep on doing it, but if they want to be a legit contender coming up this postseason, I mean, it's going to be a tough one for them. That's for damn sure.
Well, it's going to be definitely tough because you can't have like 84, 85 yards of passing, halfway through the third quarter. I agree. Your quarterback has to play better, and that's Baker Mayfield. Did you hear that, Bucs fans? I just criticized Baker Mayfield once again. Saying he has to play better.
Timestamp.
Yeah, timestamp that. But you're exactly right. You can win in this league, as we've seen before, when you have a DLG quarterback, which is Baker Mayfield, not turning over the ball. When you have a consistent running game, which is what you got today, once again, as this running game the last 3 weeks has taken off. And when you have a defense that's going to cause turnovers, and by the way, here are the Greek, score points. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it boils down to. If you can score points and not turn the ball over, and have one thing that's for sure is what they always ask. They're 6-7 right now. They're the leader in the division. They always have consistent O-line play.
Well, I think
whether it be consistently bad or consistently good, they have consistent O-line play. You know what you're going to get from the first snap of the ball. And with that team down there, yeah, Baker Mayfield is not the Messiah, okay?
No.
But if Baker Mayfield doesn't cause turnovers, doesn't fumble the ball, doesn't throw the ball to an open defensive cornerback, you guys are going to win some games down there.
Yes. Yes. Point. Because you have the run game. You don't turn over the ball. And again, I'm going to give credit to where credit is due. This defense has played good. They have to play better, especially with the veterans.
Thank you.
That's all I'm saying.
You said the exact way I was going to say. They played good.
Yeah, they got to play good. You got to play better.
They've played good enough.
Right.
They have to play better.
Yep.
One thing that I see that Bucs team needs to do, they have to start creating more pressure. This is not the same defensive line that you had with all the big guys up front creating havoc up front.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know what. They're getting old. They're old guys.
Well, look, Shaq Barrett has, he either his health or they're doubling him. He's not the same player. You see flashes of brilliance here from Kalijah Kancey. The young rookie's been good. Yaya Diaby, the young rookie's good. They're very young. Vita Vea has been hurt. For them
Adams
to win
today,
game
great play. Adams.
Yeah.
The former Washington Husky himself, with Vea being out, of course, the big question mark today
Gaines.
was the
You're talking about Gaines.
Oh, Gaines. I'm sorry.
Yes,
but just the big pressure he put inside there was a big part of this Buccaneer victory today because the Falcons were still, and Ritter still heard footsteps, and those footsteps are what made Ritter make those decisions, which ended up being enough to make the Buccaneers get that victory today.
Well,
so what's the remainder on the Bucs schedule? Who do they got?
Well, you got the Green Bay Packers next week, and then
a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one with Jordan Love playing well. It certainly seems like he could be
at Green Bay too,
franchise quarterback. So, but again, it's a week by week league, and they always say any given Sunday. So if the Bucs are playing their best ball, I think they can beat anybody. Honestly, I do. I really do. Maybe
who's left after that? You got Green Bay. Who else?
You got Jacksonville on Christmas Eve at Raymond James Stadium. We'll be covering that live from the stadium. And then also you've got on New Year's Eve, you got the New Orleans Saints, and then you finish up with the Carolina Panthers on the road.
Okay, so what you out of those 4 games? You said you got Green Bay, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Green Bay, Jacksonville, New Orleans,
and then Carolina.
You got to win 3 out of the next 4.
Yeah, and I think
you guys down there as fans of that team, those need to be convincing wins.
Well, they don't need to be convincing wins. They just need to be convincing.
No. Going into for you as a fan to go down there and think the Bucs
the playoffs,
the slightest bit of hope for the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Another game.
No,
They
look,
need to be convincing. No, Mike's right though. I mean,
I'm not on that boat here. I'm not on that. I think that a win is a win is a win. It doesn't matter if it's convincing or not, because I don't have any expectations of this team going any further than the first round. But listen, again, if you're winning with your running game, you're not turning over the ball, and your defense is able to cause turnovers and shut teams down, and hopefully you can limit those big plays that you gave up today and throughout the season, you got a chance. You do. Maybe it's a Dumb and Dumber chance. You're saying there's a chance. What is it? 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million? It's 1 in a million. You know, you're Lloyd Christmas if you're a Bucs fan right now. There's a chance.
If the Bucs if the Bucs shit the bed against Green Bay and New Orleans Saints,
yeah.
Good, Mike.
I mean that.
Well, yeah, they could. They could absolutely. You could go up to Green Bay, get your doors blown off. You're exactly right. And you got tough matchups.
Believe me, I hope they completely rip Jordan Love apart.
Yeah.
Oh, we will. We will.
That's me being a Bear fan.
I know you're a Bears fan. I know that. Real quick, I know the Bears won today. What did you think of that game, beating the Detroit Lions? Which, by the way, they had an opportunity to beat them first of the year there earlier on, where they blow the lead. Finally, they get it done. Is Justin Fields starting to hit his stride, or you just don't care?
Is Justin Fields the guy, Mike?
This entire team just where do they go next? They go somewhere. I hope their plane crashes.
Oh my gosh!
Paul Walker is going to come back for Fast and Furious 9.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Jesus, Mike.
Starring in the 2023 version of Chicago Bears.
Oh God, Mike.
Oh God.
All right, Mike. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, boss. All right.
Take care, guys.
Love you, Mike. You know, though, Pete.
Jesus.
No, I mean, that's 12-2 sports right there. Fat Mike. He's a great guy. But, you know, he made a point, though. I mean, I know you're saying, Peter, that we can squeak by we can squeak by and win the South. We can win 2 of the next 4 and still back into the South. But for this 2023 Buccaneers team, not like the one that got bounced out last year in Week 1 versus the Cowboys. Not like the one that went to the NFC, the playoff round versus the Rams and then went 0 coverage. For this Buccaneers team to have their best success in 2023, they need to finish the season strong. And that strong means to go into Green Bay and give them a victory, or at least give them a hell of a game, to go ahead and beat those Jaguars who are reeling at this point, and then lock down these 2 last divisional games versus the Saints and the Panthers. So they need to win 3 of the 4, because I've already said I have no problem with the Buccaneers facing a first-place schedule in 2024 if it means for the first time in team history having a 3rd consecutive divisional title. That's not a wild card banner. That's a banner that says you were the 3rd consecutive 2023 NFC South champion. But for this Buccaneers team to have success in the postseason in 2023 into 2024, they've got to make a statement in these last 4 games. And the statement has to be that we're not just squeaking by, getting lucky with conservative offense and a great defense. This team has to show that they're for real. And I think they have the ability to do that. But do they have the coaching to make the calls to do that? Not go conservative with 2 minutes left in the first half. Let Baker throw the ball. Leave it all on the field, Todd Bowles. Use your timeouts. Use your whatever, you're going to challenge, whatever. Utilize everything at your resource, at your beck and call, if you will, to let these Buccaneers know you're behind them in 2023. Because right now, I think that these Buccaneers, the 53 in the locker room, they're still like, well, Bowles is a great DC. We got a great team. We got some good talent. But does our coaches believe in us? Bowles, let them guys know that you believe in them by leaving it all on the field and going these last 4 games and win these games, and then convince Buccaneer fans that winning the South for the 3rd consecutive year isn't just a waste, but it's actually an asset.
All right, very good. I think you're good with that. That was a great explanation here on the Sports Web. Up on phone line, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. You guys know this is not the 80s or the 90s all over again. I mean, that's a fair point, Yachina, but you can also win with defense. Defense wins championships, and I get it. You want to score, 30, 40 points a game, but also you can win the other way too if you don't necessarily have an offense that once again continues to struggle. It's definitely a defensive issue. Yachina, game after game, the secondary is giving up too many yards and also 3rd down conversions. Mike, Harry Berg wants the Bears to trade Justin Fields for Baker Mayfield. Mike again. Bucs ran the ball on the depleted defensive line. But, Mike, they still ran the ball. We've seen this before. Like, the Bucs ran the ball on you'd be complaining that they're not running the ball enough, and they're still running the ball. They got it done today. It's still the National Football League. That's not the Bucs' fault. They ran the ball. Good for them. They've been good to running the ball.
Chase Edmonds, steps up. Rashad White still receiving on the backfield, but Chase Edmonds steps up, and you're like, no Keyshawn Vaughn today, but even if they'd run a Keyshawn Vaughn, they could put Keefe in at fullback, which, by the way, they actually went to a set where Keefe went in at fullback, but you're like, whatever it takes to win this game, and the Buccaneers and Dave Canales and this Buccaneers team was utilizing every resource at their beck and call, and that's what you want to see as Buccaneer fans.
You're absolutely correct. And then you get Rashad White there with 31 yards, 9 plays, 66 yards there for the Bucs to take the lead. And then at that point, you settle for a field goal, and then you allow the Falcons to get a big play. I believe they take the lead there 19-17. The Bucs go up 22, the Bucs are up 19-17. They get a field goal 22-17, and you allow the Falcons to get on the board there with some big plays and go down and think that they're
Peter,
Yes.
I'm going to agree with you on this. Usually the offense has been dropping the ball, so the defense has been trying to pick up the truth of the matter is, though, you're right. Today, it's Drake London. Drake London going back to, this cat's a player. And of course, Kyle Pitts, first round out of Florida. So Arthur Smith is just using his resources that he has at his advantage. But the truth of the matter is, there were times today where I'm looking and I'm like, no, this defense is dropping the ball. They've got to get these coverages down right. You can't let a Drake London get wide open down a field. And even if it's, of course, Scotty Miller, the coverage was there, but even if it's their fourth string wide receiver, this Buccaneers defense needs to remember the bread is buttered by the fact that this Todd Bowles defensive scheme is one of the best in football, and you can't just be waiting for your offense to bail you out. This defense needs to lock it up, and today there were times where this defense dropped the ball entirely. So as we get ready to go into Green Bay this week versus those Packers, this defense needs to be reminded, you guys, it's not an open and shut case. You still have a long ways to go, and we need you guys to answer the bell call, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones that are going to predicate whether this Buccaneers defense will have success just beyond the postseason, let alone getting there.
You're absolutely right. And again, they're up 19-10. They go up. They settle for a field goal. They get the big play there from White. Looks like they're going to run away with the game, but give credit to where credit is due. Atlanta comes back. It makes it closer with 19-17. Your defense is not able to get off the field. And then the Bucs again settle for a 38-yard field goal. It's 22-17. And then, of course, they give up another big play there. So too many big plays, and Drake London was huge in this game. You're exactly right. 10 catches for 172 yards. Kyle Pitts, of course, earlier on, 3 for 57. So he found a way. But again, your offense does enough in that fourth quarter. I get it. They didn't play great the majority of the game. Somebody says, you don't have a running back here. I think you do. And White, 25 carries for 102. You'll take that all day long. And then again, the big time touchdown, which the Bucs have found that the last couple of weeks. Also, not only the running game, but also, checking it down to him and finding him in space and what he can do. Great call by Dave Canales. He doesn't get enough respect. A lot of people go, bad call by Canales, bad call by Todd Bowles. This is a great call by Canales on that third down play for him to get that touchdown.
He's opening it up in the last 2 weeks. We're starting to see, when they're playing 9 or 10 in the box, run it outside. When they start covering the outside, pound them down the middle. So, hats off to Dave Canales. Was it part of the plan? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that as far as the first year as an OC, coming from a quarterbacks coach with the Seahawks in 2023, Dave, so far, I don't know where his trajectory his career arc goes, but so far it's trending up.
Yeah, I think it's trending up too. I think the offense is getting somewhat better, even though you've had still struggles with the offense, namely a Baker Mayfield. He's got to play a lot better, and I continue to say that. Game after game, the secondary is giving up too many yards. Okay, we read that. White is not a running back. Misador today disagree with that. They have neglected to build the offense around the team is built. KJ Britt has made Devin White extremely expendable. Scott Bradford says, despite Baker being horrible today, we won. Exactly. Paul says the morale is when you want something done properly, get a Britt, or the moral, the morale. It's been too late here. The moral. We need a Michael Pittman type of running back. I mean, I know there's Bucs fans out there didn't even like Michael Pittman. In fact, his first year, do you know when his 100-yard game was? His first 100-yard game, his first year in a Buccaneer uniform.
Week 5 versus the Carolina Panthers.
No, sir. Super Bowl 37 versus the Raiders. 120.
It was the last game of the season? You're kidding me.
Not.
I forgot that. Yes, I remember.
He struggled. I agree with that.
But he was a player. He was a cast member.
But compared to Warwick Dunn, which a lot of Bucs fans, because he was a fan favorite, they would say, what if you had a Warwick Dunn over a Michael Pittman? So they were.
I remember that narrative.
Yes.
And there's some people. I had a guy last week on social media that was like, I remember when the Bucs won the Super Bowl 37 and Warwick and Mike also. I'm like, whoa, Warwick was a Falcon in 2037 when the Bucs won the Super Bowl. And it's not that I'm taking away from that cat's performance, but yeah, I mean, revisionist memories. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. All right, Baker was just way too late with his throws. Yachina, there you go. Now you're talking my language. Misador says Zion McCollum looked great today. He did. Read the comments, bro. Oh my God, I'm reading them now. I can't believe that this defense let Ritter throw for almost 400 yards. You look at it. I mean, 26 for 40. 347, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Again, I'm not the biggest Desmond Ritter fan, but he did have some throws today. He had some wide open guys. He did make some throws. He made some plays. I still don't think he's a quarterback in this league. Just me.
They're paid professionals on that sideline too.
I've been on the record by saying I think they messed up by not drafting a Justin Fields when he's a local Georgia kid. You could have got him instead of a Kyle Pitts. And you know what? Kyle Pitts has not been a slam dunk pick for them. They haven't even been able to utilize him. So
no,
the same. I access this team based on their game-by-game play. The first year they played with Brady, the Bucs were on fire on both sides of the ball. Absolutely correct. Misador, 4th and 2. You run a sweep into a packed boundary. What WTF play call was that? Right, Misador, agree with you. Michael says play calling is still terrible. WTF was the 4th down play. A lot of people... the Spider, thank you very much, Joseph. For tuning in there. A long time old buddy there coming back to the fold. JTS is trash. I'm very impressed with the defending today and team today, which is rare on Todd Bowles. Again, they had their moments. I mean, Antoine Winfield Jr., we continue to talk about this kid stepping up into the upper echelon of safeties, but not only safeties, defensive players around the league. I tend to agree with you. I tell you right now, you could definitely make the case of him being a defensive MVP of the league. Could you not?
Yeah, and go back to a couple of comments ago when I said KJ Britt fills in for Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. That's what a good GM does, is that they draft players year in, year out, but then if they realize maybe I didn't hit here or I didn't hit there, or maybe this was a miss or this wasn't the hit like I thought it was going to be, they draft another player like a whomever, like Yaya Diaby or a Silvertia. And the fact of the matter is that that's what you're doing, is you're continuing to develop a team that overall is going to be a strong team in the NFC South. And I think you saw it today. So I guess I'm finally realizing the jury's starting to come out on Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. This kid could probably be a good depth piece in any defense, maybe in your Buccaneers in 2024. But at the end of the day, maybe he's not the guy you drafted when you said he had a knee injury coming out of Washington. We won a Super Bowl. He was a luxury pick. Well, maybe he's not the guy we thought he was going to be, but a good GM drafts for that. And that's what we're seeing with Jason Light. He's drafting to continue to keep a strong defense. And I think we're seeing that in 2023.
You're seeing that with Logan Hall and JTS. I know a lot of people are down on Logan Hall, but he showed up today.
Stack Avenue, yes.
According to Paul, didn't necessarily showed up, played like Chris Hovan, not making any plays at all. But I definitely think it's part of the rotation there with Gaines, and of course with Vea out doesn't help. But you're exactly right. He's trying to build this defense, and those two building blocks right now I think are the brightest. Would not only have to be, of course, a Kalijah Cansey, the rookie, but also Yaya Diaby. I think the more those
think about it, Peter.
Yeah.
When I saw your post, you're my guy anyway, brother. So I love you. But I saw your post when you posted like 10 minutes before the game that Vita Vea was out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what does this mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, then I saw this Buccaneers defense, regardless of what happened on offense or how we stopped their coup, missing the field goals. I saw this Buccaneers defense step up, and I'm like, oh, okay. So Jason Light has a plan. And obviously the plan is to continue to put dogs in the right places to make the big plays at the right time. So today it worked out, and the Buccaneers are in first place in the NFC South.
There you go. Absolutely. And they hold Atlanta under control when it comes to the running game. The talented rookie and Bijan Robinson, a non-factor. Tyler Algier got some yards there at the end, but not over 100 yards. The Atlanta Falcons didn't dominate defensively, and that's without Vita Vea. But again, going back to it, Kalijah Kancey, Yaya Diaby, Vita Vea, I feel good about that. Now, maybe you go into the offseason if you decide you're not going to draft a quarterback and you want to move on from Shaq Barrett. Maybe that's a possibility. Maybe it takes less money. You move on from JTS. You basically say he's a rotational piece. Maybe you draft a Jared Verse or an edge pass rusher to get that defensive line even better. Because, again, I think, defense wins championships. And I know there's a lot of people out there don't necessarily like the move of going with the line and drafting an edge rusher, but maybe that's the best situation at the end of it. Godwin's wife, next offensive coordinator. Jeff, sorry about the spotty reception. My point was excited for the win, but some problems exist. Bad challenge, waste of timeout, bad timeout. On Falcons punt, blown coverage on 2-point conversion. Absolutely bad drops and bad throws. Why keep bombing it on 3rd and short? Glad to see the running game gets rolling, but just because it starts to work doesn't mean you overdo it. Eventually the D will blow it up and halt your drive after a loss and no gain. Again, happy for the win, but we still got many issues. Now, going to what Jeff's point is, I don't think it's a bad challenge for the Mike Evans. I think you have to challenge that. If you don't challenge that, and it looks like a touchdown, because it certainly is very close to where you see get his 2 feet down. But what they were looking at the time was his hand on the outer boundary there in the white. It hit before his 2nd foot down. If it doesn't, that's a touchdown. I thought that was a good challenge. The punt situation, that can't happen. That costs you a timeout. And you look back at it, we joke around about, Todd Bowles not using his timeouts, but you don't want that situation to happen because that may cost you down the road, especially in that second half of the game.
And, your dogs need to know that you got their back. And I mean, that Mike Evans, it took the challenge, and it took us at home watching as fans on TV to watch it 3 times to go, oh, okay, his right hand touched before that foot touched inbounds. So I get that. That was a good call. But at the end of the day, we give Bowles enough crap when he doesn't challenge these calls. And I even did during this very show when he doesn't challenge that call earlier in the game. But you got to let your dogs know that you got their back. And that's sometimes the disconnect with Todd Bowles is like, the player, as fans were like watching going, does Todd Bowles not have their back? And Todd Bowles is like a logical kind of guy. He's like, I'm watching it. I'm looking at this. I'm calling it the way I see it. But at the end of the day, even if Todd Bowles knew at the split second that Mike Evans' hand was down as his foot touched, you got to throw that flag so you let your dogs know, I got your back because I'm your coach, you're my dogs, and I got you.
I got your back, dog. There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Temporarily again with Todd Bowles being impressed. Still not a pitch on 4th down. Evans block or not. Misador disagree. Paul, you need 2 and you run 7 in the boundary. Bucs not a playoff team. Joseph, they could be a playoff team. They could absolutely be a playoff team if they win out or if they win the next 2 or 3 here. Even with an 8-9 record with this NFC South being as bad as it is, they could definitely be a playoff team as crazy as it sounds. This is a Bucs channel, son. This is in Chicago. Of course, Anthony Richardson. Michael says, thank you, Mr. Peter Blake. You're welcome. Nick J. Orlando tagging people. Appreciate you as always. Always love to get people in here that are new. Bowles just received a stay of execution. Bucs save his job for 1 more week. Thank you very much again for the super chat. I'll be taking that. Thank you. I like how 22 looks running the ball better than number 1. You definitely gave you something today. I'm still a Rachaad White fan. I really like the way this kid is running. He's starting to get confidence, and I like the mix of them, having both of those guys in there, especially when you're getting, 4 or 5 yards at a time. Once again, when you're doing that and you decide to run on 1st down, it makes that playbook, you can open up that playbook, and it makes that offense that much easier, right?
Yeah, because don't forget, Rachaad White's your receiver out of the backfield, but then guess what? So is Chase Edmonds. And the fact that you've got these 2 running backs that can give you either or, it makes that defense play a little more honest. And if you're making a defense play honest, then you're opening up options for your offense to have a plethora of success.
Listen to you with your Leo word. Very good there. We'll have Leo Haggerty on. He texted me before the game was over. I wonder how much their cackle after what Baker Mayfield will do for Kyle Trask. They are calling him, and I don't think there's a lot of fans out there still calling for Trask to come in after Baker Mayfield and his heroics in the fourth quarter there. Hey, mate, do you think that Chelsea will win the Champions League? More chance of you posting something sensible. Correct comment about Dave, my dude, and a gray shirt. Levante Ring of Honor. Definitely think that's possible. David, Michael again. Hell no, keep Britt in there. Britt is a lot better than White. Michael says, best thing you said, Paul. Laugh out loud. Joseph Cameruri there with a great Zeppoli mix. I believe I'm Zeppoli mix. I got it wrong. We got to have you on this show. Longtime friend. You're trying to do some big things here. We got to have you on the evolution of sports talk television. Evans had the ball. He protected himself with his hand. I know he'll learn from this error. He should have face planted it with the team. I mean, it's a tough catch anywhere it goes, because not only do you have to catch the ball, but also have great footwork and body control, and you put your hand down, and it is what it is. You have to challenge it any way it goes, but it nearly was a great play by Baker and Evans pulling it off. The money is for Peter for the wings you never gave him and the bets you never paid off for. Very good. That's probably one of the best. You're exactly right, because Roger still has not paid on those wings. Alexander says, call disconnected, but if David doesn't demand much, it's a must. He come back, especially we cut ties with Devin White. This White situation reminds me of Quan Alexander. But try-on options shouldn't be used. The only players, if I feel deserve contract, is Evans, David, Winfield, and Wirfs. Also, I don't even think we should go quarterback first round of draft, because I'm assuming we're picking in the mid-20s, but you never know. Maybe there's a quarterback out there that drops. Maybe a Michael Penix because of him being up there in age. Maybe because of the knee injuries. You just don't know. Maybe he bombs out in the combine. Maybe he's there. Maybe you don't go in that situation. You go with interior line. Maybe you go with the corner. I think there's a lot of people out there that like
Baker's got a daughter.
Maybe a Kool-Aid McCaffrey from Alabama. What now?
Baker and his wife have a child on the way, and take it from a parent of three. Maybe sometimes when you get a child on the way, maybe a little bit of stability is not a bad thing. And I mean, as we finish out 2023, let's wait and see where these chips fall. And maybe Baker, everybody assumes, well, he's going to either be demanding like no money because he falls flat on his face, or he's going to demand big money because he takes the Bucs to Super Bowl 58, which, by the way, I would pose is not a bad thing. At the end of the day, maybe Baker's your quarterback moving forward. Maybe the Browns and the Panthers and the Rams, maybe they were all wrong. Maybe the fact that this Heisman Trophy winner from Oklahoma is actually the guy moving forward. I would pose that we wait to see where the chips fall from the 2023 season and see what Baker's camp's demanding before we start even talking about what the Buccaneers look for the draft in 2024.
And maybe you re-sign Baker to another 1 or 2 year contract, or you resign somebody else and you go and still draft somebody. I don't have a problem with that, because the quarterback class has a plethora, Leo Word players there. Bye, Paul. Thank you. Correct caller. Don't give Harry tech control. That's okay. He's got tech control there, Joseph. So does Ray here. If Godwin's getting $27 million a season, Evans should get 30. That's the conundrum, right? Godwin, you haven't seen the numbers that are there like they were last year. Not catching the ball enough today. I don't know where they're going to decide on that situation. Maybe they go wide receiver. Maybe that's a situation where you re-sign Evans, the Godwin contract. You want to move it. You want to go with somebody else. You want to go with Trey Palmer. I say you keep them both. You can figure it out. The salary cap goes up every year. I'll pack Devin White's bags. Good riddance. Eutina, good points. Michael, correct on the late flag comment. Roger, come on, pay Pete for this content. Let's go Bucs. Let's go Bucs. Let's go! Thank you, Shooter. Appreciate you, Bang. Tampa Bay Ray is on. He is. Not many in the league can run with Scotty Miller, but Zion can. Absolutely. There you go, Misador. There's your corner right there. Keep McCollum in for Dean and Britt for White. All right. Michael says correct, Peter. Jeremiah, everyone, Shadow is here. We already announced you as you are here. Go ahead and keep on talking. Not to be a downer, but I don't see Tampa going to Green Bay and stealing a W. That'll be a tough place to play. Correct again, Ray. But again, I predicted 10 wins. Do I want to be wrong? No, I don't. So I'm saying go for the win. They get the win there. We'll see. JTS needs to ride the pine. He is horrible. Diaby makes plays. JTS doesn't. Logan Hall and JTS are bust. Also, Devin White needs to be a healthy scratch the rest of the season. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you as always. Yeah. Of course, with Bucs Life right there. Laugh out loud. Christopher Cole, CD3 was down. He did call a timeout on 4th receiving a punt. Great show, guys. True and accurate comments and analysis by everyone. Thank you very much. You're absolutely welcome. Scott says, as horrible as Baker was today, you missed a ton of passing lanes. This upcoming draft, regardless of how we finish, we got to be able to draft one of these quarterbacks. Can't miss the opportunity. Certainly feel like you could do that. That play was automatically reviewed because it was a turnover. How about Ritter burning JTS on Atlanta's last touchdown? Why is JTS still getting so many snaps when these young guys seem better? Agree. Finally, a game where the secondary plays well, and it was not pass interference late. Again, somewhat played well there, Brett, but they had, once again, some coverage breakdowns. JTS needs time to develop. He's a generational talent. That's nonsense.
This guy sucks.
Even if we have to trade up, we can't miss the opportunity to get one of these quarterbacks in the first round. Brandon says, nice game, Buccaneers. Christopher Cole, Greek should get half. Laugh out loud. Giovanni, this game is all that I wanted. Merry Christmas, Bucs fans. Opa! Let's go! All right, yeah, 9-8, 10-8, 8-9. Go playoffs, says Brandon. Thank you. Scott Bradford, I bring Sue back. I don't think Sue is Sue.
Dominic.
You guys
still out there.
Sue back? I don't know. We shut up a little too late now because of age. Mike DeRoche, Otness, Gronkowski, light, good blocker, nice hands, reliable. He's getting better. I don't necessarily think he's Gronkowski light. Let's not go there. And as crazy as it sounds, the Bucs may draft a tight end out of Georgia and Bowers. That's certainly a possibility.
Oh, I mean, possibility, but Otten's doing it.
Tim says, everybody is high praise for Winfield, but no one has brought up the fact that he blew the coverage on the touchdown on the 2-point conversion. Very good point. He may have blown that coverage, but yes, we're absolutely high on Antoine Winfield Jr. Throw the bank at Evans. He deserves it. Dave, Britt for the rest of the season. White doesn't need to see the field again for the Bucs because he's going to check out for sure. Mike, I don't like the running style of White, the way he skips to the hole. Other running backs smash to the hole with speed. We talked about that. Running with more patience and vision. And a lot of it, the coaching staff has said this and gone on record the last couple months. They want him to run stronger, north and south, just hit the hole as strong as you can. I think he's done that. But again, he still has that patience. And it was pretty to see when he gets out in space what he can do. Tim Weatherspoon, yep, he blew it on the pass to London late, just knocked the ball down. That was huge. But the refs were the MVP. PI, no way. James, what's up, guys? What's going on?
Oh, yeah.
Game, White with 100 on the ground. I'll take that as Ray is getting out of here for now. I guess he's going to get a drink. A win doesn't have to be pretty. You just have to win. Exactly, James. Just need to win the division. We have to have you on the show here soon. Mike says one game at a time. Green Bay is up next. Shred the Cheeseheads. Greg Cole, kudos to the O-line today. Opening holes and pass protection was very good. I thought so too. Christopher Cole, not as many crucial penalties. Absolutely. White can run the ball and is a good receiver. Dave, they said Justin Jefferson was transported to the hospital. Don't know what that situation is. So Justin Jefferson, that's an update there with Minnesota and Bucs win. Fire those cannons. All right, as we will come out to Ray Kennedy here in just a moment. I guess he's getting a drink, but you look at the final numbers here for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course, winners. In first place, all alone at 6-7, 29-25 over the Atlanta Falcons. Key plays, of course, have to be the last drive there. 12 plays, 75 yards. Of course, a big play to Chris Godwin there for 32 yards to set them up. And then Cade Otton for 11-yard touchdown there to seal the deal. And then, of course, the defense has to stop them. They make it gets very interesting there as Atlanta gets down there. But no touchdown for you, Falcons, as the Bucs stopped them. Again, numbers for the day, somewhat ugly for Baker Mayfield. 14 for 29, 144, 2 touchdowns, including a rushing one. So 3 total touchdowns for the day. The running game was the major story as it was paced by Rashad White, 25 carries, 102, 4.1 yards a carry. That's going to get it done. Chase Edmonds, 8 carries for 40 yards. A total for their rushing efforts, 148 rushing yards, 142 passing yards there. Pretty balanced day. You throw the ball 29 times and you run the ball more. more times than not, you're going to win. It's going to be an ugly game, but you're going to take time off the clock, and you're also going to wear out the opposing defense, which would be the Falcons, which once again came in hurt, and they took advantage of it. Chris Godwin leads the day there as I thought he would. I thought he could have had a bigger day than he had. 5 catches for 53 yards, a couple drops there, but makes, once again, a big catch on that last drive. White, 2 catches for 33 yards, including that touchdown on the screen play, which really changes the complexion. Edmonds, 2 catches for 18. Otten, 2 for 16. Moore, the kid Moore, from Seattle gets in on the action early on. David Moore, 1 for 11, and Mike Evans, 1 for 8 for the day, which is crazy in itself. Defensively, Zion McCollum leading them with 9 tackles total. Winfield, another great game, 8 tackles there, including a sack and also a forced fumble, which led to a safety. He may get Defensive Player of the Week again. KJ Britt coming up big today. 8 tackles. Levante David back to his usual form. 6 tackles. Ryan Neal with 4. There you go. Bucs have 2 sacks for the day, which is great. They caused the 1 turnover there, which is huge, leads to points. Yes, I wanted the defense to score. They did. There you go. And then on top of it, 3rd down conversions. Give credit to where credit is due. This Bucs defense, even though they give up some big plays, they are able to get off the field and hold this team to field goals, which, by the way, Atlanta missed 2 of them, which was key. 5 for 13, by the way, for the Atlanta Falcons and their offense. On the other side here, Desmond Ridder, 26 for 40, 347, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They also had they had 2 turnovers today. 2 turnovers today. Key interception later on in the game. I didn't think that was an interception, but it was. Winfield Jr., of course, it looked like Winfield Jr. had an interception. It gets negated by Carlton Davis there and a penalty before. So he could have had more turnovers than he originally had, going back to the statistics there. So not necessarily the best day when it comes, but yeah, interception by Desmond Ridder, 347 for the day. Let me go back to the comments. Mike Evans' wife should complain this week. Then we would get the ball more. No complaining there. Mike Evans' wife should complain on X this week. Maybe he could get the ball more. All right, Mike, appreciate the comment. Let me go out to Tampa Bay Ray to finish it out. Where was the interception at? I missed that. Interception, but I know there was one that was nullified. But what was the other interception there that they got for the Bucs defense? Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis. My bad.
Carlton Davis, right.
Carlton Davis was a big-time play there. Absolutely.
And that was, you go back, you look at the Falcons in the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've been throwing that quick out to Bijan, as they've been trying to get Bijan involved more in the offense. They've been throwing him out in the flat there. So, like right when it happened, I knew that was something that, Todd Bowles and the defensive staff probably drilled into the players' heads, that they've got this, this lackadaisical type of a throw out to the flat where they throw it to Bijan. They're trying to get him involved in the offense. So Carlton picks up that pass off. But again, I go back and say that there was no way. And Christopher Cole said that Carlton Davis III was down on that play. Unless there's some rule that I don't know about in the NFL that says on a turnover, if you go down to the ground on your own, you give yourself up. There's no way that defender or that the offensive player touched Carlton Davis. There's no way he's down. So I would have liked to have seen Coach Bowles throw that, a la Sean Payton, a la Bruce Arians, throw that red flag. Todd Bowles, do me a favor. Once in a while, if you're sure of something, throw that flag out there and let the world know you got a problem with it. Because at the end of the day, that's the world we live in these days. The players want to know they got a coach that has their back, and not just has their back, but it's willing to be animated about it. Because I say challenge that. Of course, they scored the next play, and it ended up being a good turnover for us. And again, that safety the Bucs had, what a huge play in a game that was. Not only the safety to put us up by 2 points to get kickoff, but in the game when that safety came in,
well,
just the Buccaneers defense.
Jake Camarda, and I call him the punk god on the Buck Power Podcast Network, No Quarter Given. I always call him that because he absolutely keeps them down there. In that situation, the Bucs defense are able to pin their ears back and then get after it. And Antoine Winfield Jr. makes the play, which again, that's huge. And we saw that huge. And we saw that versus the Saints early on in the year. Who is it? Once again, the same suspect. It's Antoine Winfield Jr. making it, getting the safety there situation with, that's a possible touchdown if there's a Buck defensive player that jumps on it, but offensive lineman jumps on it, gets tackled in the end zone, and That's 2 points. So that's huge at the end of the day. You're exactly right. But again, this offense did have their fair share of struggles. They have to get it cleaned up. I think the positive thing you take out of this, not only the win, the fourth quarter drives, but also the running game is starting to come together. And I think, once again, if that run game comes together, then it starts to open up your playbook that much more. Final thoughts here on the evolution.
I'm just, going to this. I told you all this week on Cup of Ray. I talked about, what's that? I talked about the fact that, I spoke with someone this week and they're like, my daughter asked for a Baker Mayfield jersey for Christmas. What do you think? And I was like, as much as I want to try to make the case for a Kyle Trask, and I still think that kid's going to have career success in the National Football League, either as a backup quarterback or maybe a starter down the road. The fact of the matter is the Buccaneers have the right guy starting at quarterback, and that's Baker Mayfield, not just for his moxie, but for the fact that you saw that today with the 6th year, with the veteran leadership he brought to this team. And you match that with this defensive the performance that we're seeing out of these dogs, as we have a Devin White is out or a Vita Vea is out. And you're talking about, you want to have your best situation as you run for a playoff spot. And the Buccaneers, after the victory over the Falcons today, the Buccaneers seem poised to put themselves in a situation to make a run. And it's not just about winning their 3rd consecutive NFC South title. It's talking about having the best team with a chance. And we may not look like the Cowboys. We may not look like the Eagles. We may not look like the 49ers. But I would pose that this Buccaneers team has enough talent and enough dogs in the right places that if they find everything, just like the Giants did back in 2014 when they knocked the New England Patriots off their perfect season as a wild card team. 2007. I would pose this Buccaneers team in 2023 has the right pieces in the right places. We just need some things go our way. And after the victory over the Falcons today here in Atlanta, it seems like we have some things going our way. Let's just continue to put the right things in the right places, and let's finish the season out strong.
Stand by. We're going to go out to TikTok live here. We got some comments here from Big Game James. What's up, guys? Great win. Ray with the beard. I love it. And Rashad White with over 100 yards on the ground. Appreciate you commenting here on TikTok. The thing is, they can't see any of us. They can hear us, but they can't see us because, it's TikTok. It's just...
Wait, they can't see us?
No, I'm just kidding. All right. With that being said, Tampa Bay Ray, thanks a lot for your time. We'll see you soon here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right, boss?
Love you, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, good stuff there. 2 hours and 30-minute post-game edition after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Atlanta Falcons 29-25 to go to first place. A ugly game offensively, but Baker Mayfield comes through in the fourth quarter, winning this game. Of course, Cade Otton with the honors. Now the Bucs travel to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. Like and follow the Sports Web on YouTube. Like I Love St. Pete, Bucs Life Media there on Facebook. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Give to the Facebook stars. Give to YouTube Super Chats. And do 3 things for me on this Victory Sunday night, Victory Monday morning. You know what I always say? Monday mornings are always better with the win. The breakfast is better. The significant other is better. The job is even better. You know why? Because your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the win column. 3 things. You know them. You love them. You got to have them. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. Bucs win 29-25 to go to 6-7. We'll see you soon on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television, the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show,